Man, I've been great, like all excited, looking forward, got a lot done with my stuff I do on Wednesdays, and then 7:55 just kind of got tired. Like, all right, well, it's dark now. I'm done.
Tony, it's been dark since like 4:30.
I
You
don't
live on the
I don't
East
know.
Coast.
I don't know what you want me to do, man. It's all downhill after Gritney and Pacific Rim.
That's true. Y'all, I had a busy day at work today. Wow.
Tell us about it, Mike.
What's it like, Tony? Just coasting.
Oh, it's so boring. And I think that's why I'm tired. I think that's why I'm tired, is because I'm just checked out, man. What's up? Kilted Pipe Guy.
What up?
Meow, 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 meow. It's funny, Mike. Like, I have learned in my time on this earth that I'll just never be happy. What do I mean by that? If work's busy and stressful, that sucks, right? Like, oh man, what a stressful day. And then when I have months of like coast easy work, I'm like, this is so boring. I hate this. Kit Kat the Cat Cat. Bean.
Kit Kat. What'd she call us from the Conjuration panel? Something nerds and where to fantastical nerds and where to find them. I made that the actual title of the podcast.
Mike, I still have my wand. You want to try another trick?
You want to try some magic?
Yeah,
that's a euphemism.
Well, during like after maybe the mid break when we start getting kind of tired and bored, just be ready.
Yeah. We can just start doing magic. Fuck it.
I'm gonna do another trick. B-mail. Bow.
Bane wants to know if you're enjoying that Four Seasons there, Phil.
Yeah, man, I love the Four Seasons.
Such
Frankie
nice
Valli, they have such great songs.
You can go to patreon.com/TonyPOdcast and donate there, and I won't whip out my wand.
So, Tony, have you sent in your sizzle reel to be the next host of Jeopardy?
I'm not going for Jeopardy. I'm gunning for Weekend Update.
All right. I can see it,
Do
I
it.
guess.
What's his face? Who's the co-host?
Colin
the white guy?
or Che? Colin or Che?
Colin, thank you. Colin
is the resident twat. That's who he is.
Really?
Colin has already talked about leaving, and he just got married. So like he's on his way out.
Johansson money. He's fine.
I'm pretty sure this is going to be his last season, and I don't see if he leaves. I think Che leaves. I don't think they try to bring in someone just to replace him. So they go with the new cast,
don't they? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, don't you have to get on Saturday Night Live first to then?
No, not since after
COVID?
Dennis Leary. Yeah, the Weekend Update people don't do skits. They just do Weekend Update.
You're never going to get on if you keep calling them skits, Tony.
I'm working on it. Hey, that's one named Emily.
I'm already regretting showing up tonight.
Yo, I don't understand.
Hey.
So here's the thing, right? Like,
Time to start show.
we've got Kilted, we've got Bean, we've got.
I don't get it either.
Emily,
I know where you're going.
We got B-Mel. Like, the crew is back. Y'all didn't have to deal with Charles's shit for like almost a month, and like a bunch of y'all missed the ability to hang out with not Charles. Like, oh, Swan missing you. Ugh.
Kilted, yeah.
You're listening to Almost Daily Discourse with your perfectly adequate hosts, Tony P, Charles, Mike, And here with today's topic is Phil.
Hello and welcome back to Almost Daily Discourse, a podcast about pondering. I am your overly qualified host, Philip D. Keating, and joining us today is a friend of the show and a friend of mine, the podcast producer of all-time records. How many, thousands of shows underneath his belt. Joining us is Hammond Chamberlain. What's up, Ham?
Hey, how you doing? I'm glad to be here. This is great.
Man. Yeah, welcome back. It's been a while since we've had you on here. And so we're just going to jump right into it. I want to talk about road trip stories. Not always a great adventure is thought about beforehand, but sometimes you either accidentally fall into one or you plan it ahead and these road trips turned out to be a disaster. I've had both. Pretty quickly, I've had both of these. So I was just wondering, what kind of stories do you have from some of these road trips that you've taken over the years? I will. I'll tee it up with one of them. It was 2005, and I was living in central Pennsylvania, still in Lancaster, PA. Bunch of me and my buddies who were in a band decided, hey, you know what? We're gonna go up to New York City. This is what we're gonna go to New York City. Phil's got a car. Let's
New
jump in
York
his
City.
car.
New York City.
Get the rope.
Get a rope. Phil's got a car. He could drive. He's got all this. I was like, well, I don't know, man. I got an 86 Lumina. It is 2005. I don't know if it's going to make that trip. Oh, dude, it's going to make it. And you know what? They were right. We got up. We hung out in Dumbo. Had a great time. Parties galore. Things got weird because it's New York. There's no bedtime. I tried to convince the gentleman running the Chelsea Hotel to rent me a room for $20 because he wasn't going to fill those seats, and I got $20. We're just here waiting for you. And he told me to piss off, which was kind of rude. Who knew New Yorkers were so rude to visitors, especially at 4 o'clock in the morning? So after all that said and done, and we had a nice weekend there.
You drunk?
Yeah, I was in New York. New York, New York. So anyway, after we had such a wonderful time and we start the drive home, as soon as we hit the Jersey Turnpike, my transmission falls and breaks. So we have traditionally a 4-hour ride from New York back to Lancaster. But since I can only go in second gear, it took us 8 hours to get home. And the only way to get home quickly was on main public highways. So we coasted 30 to 40 miles per hour the entire way home with our flashers on. And though at that point I was panicked because of how long it was going to take us to get home, but also the anxiety of having to drive around the Jersey Turnpike with people laying on their horns even though my flashers are on and I'm slowly creeping around just was so burnt into my psyche that it is still, I can have nightmares some nights where all I am is on that 8-hour drive back home from New York City.
Can y'all imagine spending 8 hours in Jersey? It's brutal. Oh my God. Phil, I am so sorry for you, bud.
Oh man, it was terrible. It was absolutely, and we had such a good weekend to be capped off with just a miserable drive home. And as soon as the transmission went out, nobody wanted to talk to each other. We all knew what was on the fucking table. Just a long, miserable trip home. And literally, it turned into John Carpenter's The Thing, where everybody was just looking at each other like, don't you fucking say a word. Don't even. You can leave the radio on for now, but if I hear that Arctic Monkey song again, I'm going to put the skateboard in the back of your skull. So that was fun.
I was like, 4 hours. I was like, that's not a road trip. Where's this story go? Oh, okay. I see now. So my favorite road trip involves Josh Parker and Tiffany Henderson, and they're childhood friends. They became high school sweethearts, but then he enrolled at the University of Ithaca, and she enrolled at the University of Austin. So they had to deal with their long distance relationship. That is the movie Road Trip, a classic, a modern day classic, most of which was filmed in Georgia. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But mine was, I got a job. I lived in Columbus, Georgia, where I live now when I was much younger, and I got a job in Los Angeles that paid, oh boy, pennies more, a few $1,000s more than what I was making in Columbus. But darn it, I was like, I gotta go. That's dope. I'm on my way. Again, not factoring in the whole cost of living thing. And they paid to move me. They said, we'll pack all your stuff up, we'll move you, but you got to get there. I was like, all right, bet money. So I packed up the old Saturn. I think it was a SL1. I think that's what Saturns had, SLs maybe. The old 4-door Saturn SL1 that I got in high school, and just hit the road. And the ending destination was somewhere in California. I don't even remember. It was some crappy city right outside of LA. And I just went, and I had no plan. I just knew I had to be there and like get to work in like a week. And it was great. It's from Georgia to California, the first like 3 states that like Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, that's all trash garbage. That is like the worst. There's just nothing to see, and it's horrible and it's scary. But then when you get out west, it really starts getting pretty, and you see the mountains. And it was just a beautiful, awesome trip, minus the no gas stations in Texas. That's another trap in some of those sundown towns where there's no gas stations.
Tony, they warn you ahead of time. On the road, it says things like next gas station, 200 miles. Like it tells you up front.
This is a sundown county. Don't stop here.
Yeah, but
no, those are all the Confederate flags that just hang out like on all of the houses in the neighborhood. That's like, it's the same thing, but
And you're right. It does warn you, but like it says last gas station. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It's the only gas station. Like, there's no choice. It's not like you pull off and they're like, oh, there's an Exxon and a Texaco. Wrong. It's just Jim Bob's, and that's it. And gas is like $40 a gallon.
Well, for you.
Exactly. There's in Texas, they have the speed sign. So
Don't stop at night.
It makes perfect sense. They have the white speed limit and the black speed limit, and it's a black sign and a white sign, and it gets a little confusing, and I kind of fall somewhere in the middle.
So you just did the average between the two?
No, I just went slow, extra slow. But it was an awesome trip, man. By myself, just my thoughts, and I enjoyed it, man. It was great.
That's nice. I have the exact opposite feeling of road trips, by the way, Tony. I think driving through places like Alabama and Mississippi are amazing, right? The last time I drove...
It's because you blend in.
Privilege.
Well, the last time I drove like a long distance, I did Boston to Austin. And when I left Nashville, I took the Natchez Trace Parkway. So like I had just done the Blue Ridge Parkway through the hills of Virginia, and it's unbelievable. One of my favorite roads in the whole world. And then I get to Natchez Trace, and I've never done that drive before. So I'm super excited. Meriwether Lewis has his grave on the Natchez Trace Parkway. And so like you can stop and see where like an actual pioneer explorer died. Like it's there. It's super cool. But like the other thing that you get to do if you take the Natchez Trace is you can stop in Tupelo, where Elvis was born, and you can go see Elvis's house. And Elvis's house is like the size of the room I'm recording in. And like there's like statues of Elvis all over town that you can like, oh, this commemorates this thing and this commemorates that thing. And so like that stuff is insane. Like it's so special and cool, right? I have a hard time just driving for a long time without like distraction,
Wait,
which sounds dangerous.
Have you met you? You are the distraction, Mike. I mean, I don't understand this concept.
It's dangerous when I'm alone, Charles. That's why I'm constantly asking people to hang out. But so like,
did you make it to Graceland by chance?
I didn't have the time to like do a whole trip thing, right? Like it was, Tupelo's on the way and I need gas. And so I stopped in and then did like a 20-minute detour or whatever, right? And like knocked out all the photo ops real quick, put it on the list to come back, and then headed through again. But like the town of Spectre is in one of those little towns, like from the movie Big Fish. I can't remember if it's Alabama, Louisiana, or Mississippi.
It's all the
same.
Yeah.
But so like one of them has the actual town that they filmed in for the movie Big Fish, which is one of my favorite movies ever. And so that's on the list to like the next time I head north, kind of swing through that way. Because again, I can't take a road trip with like, here's where I'm leaving from and here's where I'm going to. It needs to be like, what am I hitting along the way?
That's what makes it fun. And that's actually a unique I mean, obviously all countries have cool stuff to see, but the US is special in that it has like roadside attractions, and that's kind of unique to the world, quite frankly. It's very American, but it's fun. That's what makes it awesome. I did take a road trip to Graceland, and I don't care for Elvis, but it's still worth seeing. And there's 2 jumbo jets on the side of the road, so that's kind of cool.
What about you, Hammy?
So when I was in college, I played in a band, and we had to take 2 cars. One was a van that had a lot of gear in it. The other was a car. And for some reason, I got stuck riding shotgun with the bass player. And we were driving from Salt Lake to Washington State. And he got tired. And so we're like, let's pull over at the rest stop. He can take a nap. Well, while he was taking a nap, we got bored because we weren't tired. He was tired. And it was his car. He wasn't letting anyone else drive. So we had to wait for him to wake up. So it got dark, and we were just starting to get really antsy about getting on the road again. And so he fell asleep in the driver's seat. So I had one of the guys turn the headlights on, and I said, you sit in the passenger seat, and when I tell you to, you wake him up hard. Like, watch out, wake up. So I got outside and stood on the front of the car, and then ran toward the hood. And then as I jumped into the air to bounce off the hood, they woke him up. And it was this. And once he cleaned up the urine from pissing himself, we were able to get back on the road.
And then who got stabbed? Because somebody has to get stabbed. It's a simple rule.
So, I mean, it's a simple story for a road trip that, I mean, we went to Washington, we played, I think 4 shows, we killed every show, and then came home. And that's a story I tell to this day because it's one of those things where it was one of the few times in my life where I'm like, this could be TV, this could be a movie, this is like a prank you play in one of those movies that you go see. And
then the drummer got stabbed. Yeah, no, that's
no. I think
the only other thing I'll say about
like ripe for these stories, right? Like, there's just something about getting in the van and like going out with the boys. So, like, like just like I don't know. I feel that.
The only other thing I'll say about road trips is I once had to drive from Norfolk, Nebraska to Omaha, Nebraska, and no one throws an ice storm like Nebraska does. And I had to drive overnight at like 5 miles an hour from Norfolk to Omaha, which is not a short drive anyway, but through an ice storm was terrifying. And I do not recommend it to anybody unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah, that's when you start thinking, when you're stuck in like that horrendous weather, it's like, oh, I'm gonna die today. This is it. much like when I drove through Texas. Like, well, it's been real.
All done. Yep. Those storms where you have to like pull over and wait under an overpass. Like,
yeah. No, this was just coming down in sheets of ice, and you could feel it getting heavy in the car, and you could feel anytime you did anything with the wheel, you just felt the car start sliding, and it was terrifying. And
Phil just
don't
calls
know
that
why.
a Saturday.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you just gotta send it, dude.
Yeah, you
I
turn the
did-
wheel
I-
into the slide.
I
Snatch
did make peace with God that night, though. I figured, you know what? If I'm going to go, at least I'm okay now. So
Yeah, you ever run down the list like to make sure that you're covered, like all your bases are covered? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I'm not sure.
Cthulhu.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
it was actually on that road trip where I actually felt bad about what I did on that road trip with the band because
Charles, do you drive places or like do you just?
I love a road trip, man. I'm the opposite of Mike, though. I don't want to stop for shit. I want to go. I'm getting to where I need to go, and it's 2 days away. Let's ride. But the weirdest, I can't say the weirdest trip I ever took, man. It was when I was 14 years old, and we had some friends of ours from West Virginia. And little pro tip: don't go to West Virginia because the parts that I saw, not good. But anyway, I ended up going up to West Virginia to visit his family for like a week because they wanted to show me what real work was like on a real farm, tossing hay bales. And so I'm like, okay, for a week, I get to play like I'm a farmer. Yeah, that's going to show me all right.
Let me take a long trip just so I can do your work for you.
Yeah. That's where I learned some people in this country say the word battery, and they are wrong because that's not how it's spelled. He goes, so he kept asking me for a battery. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I finally figured out that's battery for everybody who's confused right now.
Mm-hmm.
Battery, not battery. Anyway, so I had that week, and then they were taking their oldest son to some college down by North Carolina where my grandparents were. So the plan was they were going to drive me down to my grandparents' house where I'd stay for a few days, and my parents, or my mom and a friend of hers were going to pick me up and then take me to another place in South Carolina. It's this weird trip. It's hard to explain all of it. But I ended up in North Carolina. But so we take her son to college where they tell me to stay in the car. So I'm in the back seat as they're like unloading his stuff and taking. I don't even get to see the dorm, nothing. And I'm sitting there watching him, and then the mom gets in for 2 hours solid. It's silence and my boy. I'm like, this is no cell phones. This is no tablets, no internet. I'm sitting in the back of the car going, I don't really know you people, and you're crying a whole lot. This sucks. So get to my grandparents. It's fine. A couple days later, my mom and the family friend comes up, and I realize you're in I don't remember what the type of truck was. Basically a Ford Ranger. 2 adults and me. I hit 6 foot when I was 14 years old. So I'm like, where? And I got this stuff, and I'm going somewhere else. So I have my stuff.
Wait, hold on.
Already.
Who are these people, and why are you in their vehicle?
It doesn't matter because
picked him up at a rest stop.
if he's in anywhere between West Virginia and North Carolina, he can ride in the back.
Pretty much. So that's what I did.
Gotcha.
Like
gotcha.
if you're flying a flag back there, man, like it's fair game. You can do whatever you want.
So the car was with the West Virginia people. The truck was my mom and this friend of ours. We ended up living in her house for a while. It's a whole different thing. But they come up to pick me up from my grandparents. So it's my parent, knowing where I'm going, knowing how big I am. They brought this little pickup truck with a camper top on it. And like, well, where am I going to say? Well, we're going to put all your stuff on the side and the back, and there's a mattress in the back. And I got to climb my happy ass into the back of this truck with the camper top on it to ride from North Carolina to South Carolina, about a 4-hour trip.
Wait,
just
you got a mattress?
I did get a mattress.
Cover, and you're complaining about it? God, Charles. See,
but he didn't have a Game Boy to keep him busy.
That's what we. Just an abacus.
I like to mess with people. I was laying with my face near the tailgate, and every time we'd stop, I just kind of pop up like right here where my nose, and I'm looking around, made eye contact with people, and duck back down. It was fun.
You need,
I entertained
you need
myself.
another road trip because that's a horrendous story.
I've had a few.
No,
other
but that's
road
his.
trips.
That's the
weird.
good
It was
one out
fun
of the
as shit,
two. That's the good one.
dude.
That's like
Nah.
a kidnapping.
That-
So my road trip was I
Yeah.
was gagged and blindfolded. Like what? No,
I was
wrong
thrown.
story.
I was thrown in a trunk.
the wet. The
Well, that's
West
the
Virginia
story he
part was
didn't
weird.
tell.
I tell you, man, riding in the back of the truck, it was fall weather. It was nice. You know, I could look out at people and do weird shit. It was fun. That part
Let's
of the
not
trip
dig
was
into
fun.
that statement too much.
Nope.
Yeah.
I know you took a fun trip to Chicago. Didn't you go up there for Go Fest?
Yeah. Joe Ard and I got in the car and drove 14 hours. Well, I was in 14 hours. He was in 12 to go drive from Atlanta to Tennessee to then up to Chicago. And road trips where you get to know people. I think that's what I love the most about road trips.
Yeah.
It's just the conversations you have on the road and the different things you do see. And I don't want to stop for him, Mike. You're out of luck. But, hey, Mike, take a picture as we go by. I'll distract you with my conversation. Let's go.
So if there's more
yeah.
than one person in the car, I'm the same way. Like, let's just fucking do it. Let's power through it. We will cycle through and do the sleep thing where, like, I'm sleeping in the back and you're driving in the front or whatever. But if it's just me, I got to stop, man. I got to stop and I got to see stuff and I got to, like, stretch my legs.
That's the beauty of going solo. It's usually at the end of every year, I take like a little road trip just by myself intentionally to just go and be by myself and be with my thoughts and go see what I want to see. So yeah, I recommend it to everybody.
As opposed
So
to
when you
like,
guys are-
most of the time when you're hanging out in your house, ignoring your phone calls just by yourself.
But I'm on the road. That's the difference.
Okay, yeah,
I'm on the
I got
road.
you. I got you.
So when you
my
guys
best-
are on your own in your car on these road trips by yourselves, do you ride in silence? What kind of music? Do you do books? Do you podcasts?
Yeah, I'm
What do
a
you
serial
do?
killer, Hammond. I don't listen to anything. I drive in silence. I listen to the sound of the wind buffeting my car and the wheels on the pavement, and I just think about my next victim.
Every
It's hard to listen
hour
to
on
music
the
through
hour.
guilt masks.
Every
You'd be surprised it isn't.
every hour on the hour, I call Tony P. Henderson just to see if he picks up. That's how I entertain myself when I'm driving alone. 9 out of 10, he doesn't pick up.
Nah, still no. Still no.
Yeah, still no. But you're talking about weather and driving through weather, Hammond. I went with my buddy from Atlanta to Indiana with this moving truck. We're going to move some stuff from her sister. She's coming back from the college up there, whatever. And I mean, it's wintertime, but wintertime in Georgia means it's 70, depending on the day. So, we're like road tripping in shorts and stuff. And we're driving. I don't remember if we're in Kentucky or what state we're in, but we're hitting these shadows. And I'm looking over like, dude, there's fucking ice on the ground, man. And we're looking at the shorts, we're looking at the ice, and then we get further on, we see snow, we're like, we fucked up. We fucked up so bad. It was so fucking cold when we got there. You don't think about that.
So there
Dude,
is
I was going to say I did that once, but go ahead, Hammond.
I was going to say, if you guys want to hear a story about messing up with weather, so my family went down to Moab, Utah in April, and they went up this thing called the Devil's Backbone. It was supposed to be this scenic road, and they
First
drove
mistake.
up. Yeah, they drove up, and it's funny
Could have gone
because
up the devil's butthole instead.
so it starts raining, and they see this tree falling down across the road, and my brother-in-law is like, "Oh, just go around." So they go around it, and they go up and around some more, and all of a sudden they realize they're in snow, and there's another tree across the road, and they go around it. And then they realize they're in lots of snow and they're wearing shorts, flip-flops. They got nothing. The battery starts to die. The car starts running out of gas. So they finally get down the mountain and get home after getting unstuck and having to dig the van out of the snow. And
Can we Brody you
they
at
get
this
back.
point?
Huh?
Can I Brody you at this point?
No, it's an actual story. It's an actual story.
Most of the stories that get Brodied are stories.
No, so this
Go
one.
ahead.
So she.
It's a Frog Pants reference, whatever.
It's a Diamond Club reference.
But yeah, go on.
And
So-
tomato.
So they. So when they're telling the story to me, I'm like, okay, this is great. But you realize the trees across the road were the ghost telling the people in the house to get out. and you didn't listen, and then you almost got stuck. So you continue to ignore the warning signs. But there were 2 handprints on the back of the van for years before she traded it in for my brother-in-law to push the van out.
The ghosts?
No. So if you're ever in Moab, Utah, and you have someone say go up Devil's Backbone, say no, because you're no matter what time of year it is, because Moab's supposed to be this deserty, redstone, beautiful place. No, that's a trick.
I'll tell you what, Hammond, if I'm ever anywhere and anyone says go up the devil's anything, I'm gonna say no. I had one kind of similar where I was coming back from seeing my parents in Asheville, and I had nothing but like shorts because the weather was hot in Asheville, believe it or not. It was hot in Georgia, but then I stopped off in Kentucky to see a friend, also warm. But we decided, let's go to Cleveland. And we were like, cool.
Fucking said nobody ever.
Right. We went
Harry
to
don't lie to
Cleveland
you, Tony.
because I had never
Cleveland
been.
does not rock.
No,
And we
Cleveland
wanted to.
sucks.
Damn it, Drew. But we wanted to see the Christmas Story house. We were like, let's go see the Christmas Story house.
All right.
And we just randomly road trip, and we get up there. Well, as we start getting close, I'm like, hey, it's kind of cold. By the time we get up there, it's pouring snow. I'm wearing basketball shorts. Isn't that what snow does?
What's
What does
that?
snow do? I don't know.
Talk about weather. Golly.
And
Snow and snakes and cats.
it's there's a lot of snow, and I'm in basketball shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm like, not only am I gonna die, but I look like a jackass. So I had to drop like $80 on a Christmas Story jacket that I knew I would never wear again, but it was worth it. So there's pictures of me in basketball shorts and the tourist jacket, also looking
Which is
like
just
a jackass.
It's a big pink bunny outfit hoodie.
Tony.
I wish.
Tony.
I wish.
You only have to
that
wear it when your
picture.
aunt comes around, bud.
I need that
And-
picture for
and-
album art.
And I need that jacket for Christmas.
So I eventually gave the jacket to Goodwill because I never wore it. It was, like I said,
Go
like
pick it up.
$80. It was
Guaranteed
green,
nobody bought it.
and it said Christmas Story House, Cleveland, Ohio. And I was like, I'm never gonna wear that. But again, it was
still
worth
have
it
it?
for that day.
This
No.
one time, you know that, Charles. He took it to the Goodwill.
He's
I was gonna
rusty.
say-
Come on, Hammond. He's rusty.
Phil.
I got my
Phil, show
driver's
some
license
love.
in Hawaii. And when you get your driver's license, the first thing you want to do is just drive till you run out of gas. Well, in Hawaii, 2.5 hours later, I was right back where I started. And I'm like, oh well, what the hell?
So I had this wonderful story about driving to Pittsburgh and then returning back to Philadelphia, taking Route 30 all the way home, and all the weird side attractions in small towns like Mr. Ed's Candy Emporium and Elephant Museum. But we're out of time, and I need to
Yes,
show
we
the
are.
love. So as we record this episode, it is Veterans Day, and I've got a lot of family and friends who are vets, and God bless all of you for sacrificing not only your time, but your body and your mental state of mind for the safety of our great nation. So I just want to say thank you. And if you can, donate over at the Fisher House Foundation. Now, look, there's a lot of different charities for vets. But the thing that I like about the Fisher House is, like, they don't only just supply vet families and military families with money and donations. They also will accept, like, flying points or hotel points and other kind of ways so these vet families, can go on vacations together once they come home and get all this. So if you have the time, if you have any extra money, just please throw it over to fisherhouse.org, and it's greatly appreciated. If you have a couple Disney points that you don't feel like you're ever going to use because we're in the middle of COVID, You can throw them the way of the Fisher House, and maybe take those points and turn them around for a family that hasn't seen one of their parents for 4 or 5 years. So I know I normally do silly things with my show the love, but not today. But for me, you can find me all over the internet at Imaginary Nomad. That's Twitch, Twitter, Instagram with a 1. We're streaming on Mondays now. We're doing Super Metroid because I haven't gone through it, so it seems like a good thing to do. And then we'll see what happens after that. We do botched films every Monday night. We just did Hellraiser. That was pretty interesting. And then botched, the actual live play, is happening every Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/botchpodcast, and Nook's Tavern, my in-game, in-studio podcast live about Animal Crossing over at twitch.tv/Nook's Tavern every Thursday night on the internet at 8 p.m. Eastern. This is Almost Daily Discourse. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify. What else? We got Farmers Only. I think Charles set up a Parler account. I don't know.
We got this personal account.
Oh, sorry. That's all over at Almost Daily Pod. Email the show about your silly road trip. almostdailypod@gmail.com. Give us a 5-star review. It really helps the show grow. And if you think that our topics aren't good enough and you have the time to tell me at a farmer's market, you have the time to email a topic that you want to talk about.
That's a true story.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Up next is Charles about one of his favorite actors. See ya!
Nice.
Nice work.
Nice.
I tried to find a good charity about
I'm proud of you.
about veteran suicide prevention and suicide help for families, but I just couldn't find one that had a high enough rating,
Quality
like
rating,
quality rating. So I couldn't willingly go after one of those when I just didn't have the time to really research it.
Yeah.
Where do you
fucking
find
sucks that,
where do you find the
people are
ratings for
so-
those things?
Normally,
Nope.
if you just Google the charity and then charity rating, it normally pops up.
Gotcha. I thought you were gonna have some really good answer for it. Like, oh, I didn't know what. You just
Charity
Google charity
Navigator
rating.
and Charity Watch are usually what I
Yeah,
use,
they
but
show.
they're also the first 2 hits. Like if you Google
Gotcha,
charity ratings,
gotcha.
but
Charity Navigator is normally what I use.
and so
So-
yeah,
All right, give me just a minute. We'll start next segment.
yeah, no
Yeah,
worries.
that's
Take
fine.
your
I
time.
gotta find
You're
my
new.
phone.
You're doing a great job. You're doing the best
hey.
you can.
Hey, Bill. Yes, that is the Four Seasons behind Phil. Bill was asking about that.
Oh yeah, they just let any asshole fucking do a press conference from here. So, I stole a couple generators, got my lamp set up, and I'm out here with just
I
doing
gotta
what
say,
we do
Phil,
now.
Your cable management looks a lot better than earlier in the week.
Well, once you have those weren't really good tie downs I had. They were really fraudulent. I thought I counted the tie downs correctly. It turns out I had to do a couple recounts just to come up with the same number. So,
Oh,
Hey, so Phil, do you have guests on your botched movies?
yeah, we do. We always.
I want to come on botched movies.
Okay. The only thing is it's Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, and it has to be just an Amazon film, because that's the only way we can stream it on Twitch.
Okay.
That's really it. If
I'm
you
in.
have a film in mind, just
I'm
let me
in.
know.
Okay.
Okay.
so
I
real
wanna
talk.
know-
I was Charles is back. Damn it. Real talk. I was watching your game stream, and you were like, you and Dennis were like, oh, I don't know what movie, and I kind of checked out, and then just now I find out it was Hellraiser. I was like, damn it. I
Well,
should have
here's-
watched that.
Here's the thing, right? We normally figure these out by Saturday, but with how crazy last week was and how crazy the end of the week got for Botch personally, it fell by the wayside. And I think it was about an hour before we went live, I said, you know what? Fuck it. We're watching Hellraiser. Who's seen Hellraiser? And nobody had except for me. And I said, oh, come to daddy. You're in for a treat,
so
my boys.
lucky.
Yeah.
So lucky. What a good movie to get to watch for the first time.
Hellraiser 3 is actually the one that I enjoy the most, but Hellraiser 1 is the best.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Yep.
Quite appropriate for post-election week. Just
Well,
got rid
and
of-
also I could, compare my hosts during the intro to different Cinnabites. So,
yeah.
it worked out because they had no idea what I was talking about
Yeah,
until
Cinnabites
the
is what
movie-
those small things they sell at the gas station.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're little
It's for
pieces
when
of
you-
corpses. Yeah.
It's when you don't
Covered-
want a
covered
whole
in icing.
Cinnabon.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
ice.
Who doesn't want a whole Cinnabon?
I usually want two.
Well, me either.
Bill's never watched the Hellraiser movie. Bill, that's a good one
Oh.
to get the family together on a Friday night.
It's a good
And,
Christmas movie, like a Christmas
Yeah.
Eve.
Sunday morning just before church.
Just after church.
After church. Yeah, you can't.
During church. Put it on the projector right up there.
Yeah,
You know?
hey, you guys have phones, don't you? Watch Hellraiser in church.
So that reminds me, there was. I actually was. Never mind.
All right, let's get this next one going.
Yeah, let's
Hey,
do,
wait,
let's do the
wait,
show that
before
we,
we
we do. No.
No. One more real quick. There's
How
a
do I start
question in the
thing?
there's a question in the chat about Phil's hat. Phil, where is your hat from? What is that?
Oh, I picked it up at at one of those army salvations. This
Thomas
is an
runs a
old.
train hat.
This is
It looks
a
like- I was gonna say, it
fire.
looks like
It's a fire marshal hat from a local fire station in Bumfuck, Pennsylvania.
It actually looks a lot like a conductor from Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, well, how do you do?
and
Blow
and you
my
just
whistle.
put a gritty pin on it? Is that what that
Oh,
is?
yeah, it's a little gritty pin.
Got it.
And my
All right.
whole assemble cost me about $8.50. So I'm pretty
And that was all the
happy
pin.
about it. And yeah, that was the pin. I stole the hat. You're right, Hammond.
All right. Well, I'm glad we could
Roll that footage, bud. This is I'm over this. Let's go.
You're listening to Almost Daily Discourse with your perfectly adequate hosts, Mike, Phil, Tony P, and here with today's topic is Charles.
Hey, Marky.
It's me, I'm Charles.
Hey, how you doing, Mike? You
I'm so good, bud. How are you?
I told you I was going out for cigarettes, bud. It took a minute. I was coming right back, and then I heard you say pendulum, and I'm like, fuck that. I can't come back for a couple weeks after that shit. No, I'm sorry, bud. You just got to play ball by yourself. Throw it against the wall. You'll be all right. You'll be all right, bud. And let Mama Phil and I have some quiet time.
I'm glad you're back, Daddy.
Oh, it's good to be back, man. It's good to be back. All you assholes were complete and total trash pandas while I was gone. And it was all right. From the to the filter of freaking Flavortown, what's his face, to Phil acting like he was a pro when he came back, to Tony just forgetting where he was every week. It was just amazing.
I'm so
It was
confused.
amazing.
Wait,
Exactly. That's the role you play.
you were gone?
That's why we had so much fun.
I want to know. I do want to know who's stalking Phil at the farmer's market to be saying, "Get better topics, brah."
Oh no, don't worry. He knows who he is, and I'll hear about it on Saturday.
I get
Imagine
text
if
from
he
Jamie.
didn't know.
Uh,
Is that me?
I get text from Jamie during the week when I was gone. He's like, "You're still not on the show?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's Steph Krugs, man. All she does is hate on me. I can't take it anymore. I gotta take a break. I need some positivity mindset reinstated. I gotta take that break because Krugels is just that. We did the school thing, and I got her and Swan on me. I couldn't do it. Had
That
to
was so
get time
long
out.
ago.
3 weeks. 3 weeks ago because I've been busy.
Is that
saving
why I
lives
got
and changing
bumped?
the world.
Is because you took time off?
No, you got bumped because we don't want you on this show. Hammond, J. Hammond from Sound Tapes and Beyond the Tape Deck.
Sure.
Wow.
Yep. Exactly
And,
that.
You've worked on a few shows. You claim to book guests for Botched, but they never have guests. So just what are you doing here, man?
What?
Why are you even here?
Because
Okay,
I'm trying to make you
somebody
guys look.
move him into the green room real quick.
Because I'm
I
trying to
can
make
still
him.
hear you in the green room.
Put him in the green room real quick, Tony.
I can hear you in the green room.
Yo, I think he's got. I'm worried about his psyche. Like,
Honestly, like
what
early
is
onset,
his-
like what's going
like,
on?
I don't know, dude, but he is
What
literally.
I'm just trying to figure out what I've done. I'm a nice
Yeah,
guy.
you're our guest.
Hammond, you've done nothing. You're good, Hammond.
You're a beautiful soul, man. Okay,
Thank y'all so much
Hammond
for
left.
tuning into Almost Daily Discourse, the podcast that you're listening to and the stream that you're watching. We're gonna bring Charles back in here and see how
we've
this goes.
Timeout's over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
sent him away to sober up a bit, but we're gonna let him back in.
You know, Johnny Depp said this kind of thing would happen if I just stood my ground and tried to tell the truth. He said
Oh,
this.
right.
I didn't listen to
This is
him.
gonna get even weirder.
He said he was
Yeah.
gonna. I do want
This
to talk about not specifically the Johnny Depp situation, but the whole idea of in this world of celebrities and acting and everything else. When do you cut ties versus standing with them? When do you give somebody time to defend themselves? And over the weekend, I did learn from actually these guys that he was supposedly found guilty and this and that, and he was cut. Well, then somebody even in that chat, we did Conjuration this weekend, and that podcast is out live. But somebody even in the Conjuration chat was like, he got found guilty in a UK court of bullying, you know, and
Bully,
it's like
bully.
he got cut from Fantastic Beasts instantly. So I wanted to ask you guys. Hardwick went through the same thing, right? Hardwick got accused of all this stuff, got slammed, lost a ton of money because of all his jobs. But then it came out that, well, no, it wasn't all true. I mean, when we say human beings are human beings, and we know we can all be ugly, we can all be mean. I'm not talking about the Kevin Spaceys, right? Who
Sure.
have done horrible things. I'm talking about, let's just use the Johnny Depp as a situation.
When it's-
you know,
when
a
it's
messy
complex,
situation.
right? When it's gray,
Yes,
when it's
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
I got your back,
But also,
Charles.
I think Depp also has extenuating circumstances because I think it's not just his behavior or his personality. I also think there's some other issues that he has to deal with that he needs to clear up before we go talk about what he did. I mean, that's the thing that's kind of rough about that is there's all these other things that are supposedly going on.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, when you're going through I don't mean a domestic violent dispute, but a domestic dispute where one person gets another, ugly divorce, whatever. It's bad enough to have your business in the streets, right? Which the celebrities get their business put in the streets. But in this case, it seems complicated that, it was Amber Heard, right? Who's in the DC cinematic universe.
Aquaman.
Yes. And she came.
She's not
accused of
Aquaman.
abuse. She's not.
Aquaman.
You're technically right there, Mike. Have a
You
cookie, buddy. Have a
Hey,
cookie.
thanks.
I'm back. It's okay. She accused him of abuse and this and that and the other. Then as it approached courts, see, even then he wasn't cut ties. No, they didn't cut ties with him, right? With the charges of domestic abuse and all this stuff, and then it comes out that, from what I understand, she was lying, and courts are finding there's no real evidence. No, Tony, what you got?
So what had happened was, apparently they're both garbage human beings, and from what I've read, are both being abusive to each other, and he had her on a tape saying some ugly stuff, but he was also being abusive. So again, the way I understand it is it was found out in the end that they're both just being garbage people.
So it's as if we're watching two possums fight over an old piece of peach that's just rotting in the hot sunlight.
You know, when I
Normal
think of
Pens-
analogies,
normal
when I think of
Pennsylvania.
when I think of analogies, that's not the first thing I go to is possums fighting over peaches. I just
Oh, well, come on, Hammond. You got to come up to the hill country of Pennsylvania. That's like a staple saying up here. Man, look at those two dirty old rabid possums fighting over a piece of peach as it spoils in the hot daylight. Just rolls off the tongue.
and it's two old men fighting over a bottle of whiskey.
It's just Tristan and Dennis.
Like my grandmother used to say, what?
Now you're from Georgia. I can understand the possums and peaches in Georgia.
Yeah, no, I don't say that. I would. Yeah, I'd be over my dead body. Would I be found said that? Hey, so Kit Kat, the kitty cat said, Phil said something great last week about picking our hypocrisies. Pill, you want to Pill, you want to remind us what you said?
Yeah, I mean, it really just you have to remember that all celebrities and musicians and anybody in the public eye are horrible people, and you just have to know where your limit is. You really do. A lot of. Okay, yeah, no, you can go.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
It's one.
No. Oh, Charles, can you thank Tony for me?
But no, fuck Tony. But no, so you're talking about two different things, though. As human beings, we all can be great people and at the same time be horrible people. We say ugly shit to each other. Sometimes this happens, right? So there is a line between actual crimes and horrible things that should never be done to another human and two people being nasty to each other, right? So why is Johnny Depp getting the treatment that Kevin Spacey is getting?
Well, so I guess
I assume it's because like he was accused of hitting his wife and settled the lawsuit. Like, I don't know.
As the only person that apparently did any research on the topic, he didn't break any contracts with Warner Brothers. They just decided this is too much and we don't want to do this. So they still paid him $10 million. He's not getting screwed or out of work or anything. He's probably making less than actually shooting the movie, but he's literally getting all his time back and his schedule back. And it's just a clean 10 million just to part ways and be like, you know what? There's just too much negative attention here. They're not saying he did anything wrong. They're not saying she did anything wrong. Exactly to Hammond's point. It's just too much baggage that we don't feel like dealing with. And they bring in Mads Mikkelsen. So it kind of worked out in the end.
Well, and to do that too. I mean, this is a series of movies that is already kind of struggling. They need good press. And having him come along, they're going to say accused wife beater or accused jerk or accused, whatever. Johnny Depp stars in this Harry Potter film. It's not gonna, it's publicity and attachments they don't need to kind of make this thing recover to a successful franchise because it's just not, it's struggling as a franchise. So they can't have negativity attached to it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with Hammond 100%. It was already, the second movie to me was not good.
No,
I love the first one so much. And the second one just pissed in my cereal, man. It was, Well,
Johnny Depp's movies have increasingly become less good.
Well, he doesn't
Let's look at the Pirates of the Caribbean films. Talk about returning on a loss of return of investments or the law of diminishing averages. That last one was garbage.
Yeah.
Spoiler, he hasn't made a good movie since 2004.
What was
and
the
just
last
like
movie he made?
In my opinion,
Yeah.
Finding Neverland.
Okay.
Oh, good movie.
And before that, probably From Hell or Blow. But I'm not.
Okay, Blow from Hell. There's a movie I need to see.
Oh, hell!
Oh God, Tony. But
this movie just got. I'm gonna
say
it.
Say it. I know what you're gonna say. Say it. This movie just got better.
It did. It really did because his movies, like Hammond said, have been garbage, and like none of I don't have numbers in front of me, so I can't talk about how much money they're actually bringing in. But him and his friend Tim Burton, man, they just they work so well together. And it's not what society needs, but they just keep putting the new movie that is just the same movie, but with a different skin on it.
Let's count how many times he's had Edward Scissorhands' hair.
And looking at the IMDb, I remember hearing good things about Black Mass. I haven't seen it, but that was 2015 where he played Whitey Bulger. So I heard that was good, and I want to say he was up for some nominations. So I feel like he has the ability, but I agree when he gets with Tim Burton, it's just two buddies that don't care anymore and are going to make their money and just don't try. And that pains me. I've said it many a times. Pee-wee Big Adventure, favorite movie of all time. So it pains me to say that, but also it is what it is.
And I will say too that Tim Burton makes excellent first half of movies. I don't like the back ends of the back halves of his movies. I think the last 10 minutes of almost every movie he makes is incomprehensible.
Can somebody highlight Run Jump Stomp's comment in chat real quick? All right, so Bill says, are his movies bad because he sucks or because he's just taking movies that are terrible for the paycheck? Well, I think at this, I'm going to say yes with you, Hammond. Yes, he is on both of those, but also to harken back a little bit on what Hammond was saying, man, he's not well. Like, he's going to work and doing these films and having these films presented in front of him, well, he should be checking into a rehab somewhere and coming and leaving the public eye for a bit to kind of somehow, I don't mean to use a pirate saying, but to steady the ship and get it back on course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because when he is really dialed into a character and when he's really giving it his all, like he was in his early career and even up to the early aughts, those were not only good films, but those were films you had to go see.
I mean, he killed it in 21 Jump Street. I mean, gosh.
I don't know if you're being an asshole or not because I haven't seen that movie.
Are you talking about the TV show or the movie?
I'm talking the TV show. His acting debut. Yeah, he was on 21 Jump Street on TV, and then his debut acting role was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Correct, but he was also in 21 Jump Street, the movie, so I didn't know if you were being a
cameo
dick.
in the movie. He had a small part in the movie. Yeah,
it was basically a punchline. It was a punchline.
But I wonder, matter of fact, I just watched Queen's Gambit, which will probably be my show the love next week or something. And one of the points of that, without spoiling anything, is that balance between genius and insanity. And, so, I mean, is he skirting that line? Is that where the problem is? Is he so crazy that he's a genius actor, but then, it comes with issues? Like, I don't know. I just don't know. And I hate to see, I don't want to, I want to see him go out on top. Like, I hate to see him kind of go through this crumble, because you don't want him to be in like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and disappear until he dies. Exactly. And I don't think he has the time to make the miraculous comeback like
Mickey Rourke.
Like,
actually, that's not a bad analogy.
The Wrestler was really good.
Yeah, that is not a bad analogy. The Wrestler was a huge comeback for him after his like Wild Orchid days where things were really weird. And he was like at the top of his weird game. Then he disappeared because of trouble and then came back with The Wrestler. And then Reputation and whatever bad press followed him after Iron Man. And it's just what it is now. But where The Wrestlers,
I'm thinking about Iron Man, funny enough. The actor
Robert Downey Jr.
Thank you. Yeah, there's no time for Johnny Depp to do that turnaround. So I feel like if he goes to a bad place, he stays in a bad place.
If he gets clean, right, and like recovers and like puts a healthy lifestyle forward, I think he's got the ability to age into roles that like Michael Caine is filling now, right? Like, and the question is like, what do we do if he decides to go in a way that like he puts himself back together again, right? Because like, I think right now stock is at an all-time low, and it's really hard to support a guy like that, even though he has these massive, like, he killed it, right? Like for so long. How do you support a guy coming back up?
Okay, so I have a question. It's a similar story for different reasons. How do we feel about the Tom Cruise? Because Tom Cruise has definitely lost his nut. So how do we deal with, I mean, the fact that he was so successful and now he's struggling with the things he's doing because of his reputation and his baggage he carries with him?
Yeah, most certainly. Most certainly, Charles.
Because he's got, all the Mission Impossible stuff. He's got the Top Gun movie coming back out. He seems to be doing all right with his money.
So is Johnny Depp.
No, I'm just saying.
That's not what we're
when's the last
talking
time
about.
Tom Cruise didn't do a blockbuster film?
Johnny
Mummy?
Depp just got
Okay,
$10
that's
million.
fair. That was the Mummy. That was not Tom Cruise. That was the Mummy.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It wasn't. Let me just pick literally any movie in the last 19 fucking years. That
Really?
wasn't Johnny Depp. That was Enter the Movie here.
What?
Like, you can't just say that's not Tom Cruise's fault. He's still signed on for that hot pile of garbage.
I'm not. No, but you're saying that Tom Cruise is struggling because of his reputation. I don't think he is. I don't think Tom Cruise is struggling at all.
I'm not
Well,
saying
I don't
struggling, but
either.
I'm talking about the baggage he brings because there definitely is now baggage.
Well, it's short baggage, so it's all right.
Exactly.
Well, and it's also funny
not-
running baggage.
It's a carry.
Okay, but that is a little different, right? Tom Cruise, his baggage is he's crazy Scientologist and he jumped on a couch.
No.
No,
There's
no.
rumor
From the
that he abused the ex-wife.
Exactly. But that rumors get squashed, and people don't want to hear that if they like the person. Johnny Depp has always been a little bit weird, and we do know that he was found guilty and, of course, settled the suit. However it comes out, because I don't have the full details on how it played. But I'm saying there's people.
Isn't this
you're
your
talking about
topic?
choose your hypocrisy. I wasn't going to talk about Johnny Depp specifically. I said in our topic chat, I want to use this as an example of when do you cut ties versus standing. And that's the thing. You brought up Tom Cruise. People still love Tom Cruise. Most people go, oh, yeah, he jumped on the couch. Ha, ha, ha. And like, well, I heard he beat Katie Holmes. Nah, he wouldn't do that. And that's what I'm saying. He's not suffering.
Scientology
That's not
squashed all the
baggage
people who were
he's actually
talking.
carrying.
They're all in Scientology's dark house somewhere because anyone who spoke out against him has been swept up.
Dude, truth, whether that's truth or not, I'm just saying, in general, truth does not matter to the freaking world for any reason.
So real quick, the Leah Remini show is on Netflix now. I already watched it when it was on cable because I was obsessed with it, and now it's on Netflix. So it's interesting, and I recommend it. She's a little wacky herself.
Yes, their Jehovah's Witness takedown was pretty good too.
Yeah, it's just it's interesting. I recommend it to see the world Tom Cruise is a big part of. And the top of the chain of Travolta too, for that matter. But anyway, that's not the topic. For me, I enjoy the entertainment. I am one who will separate the person from the entertainment. Sometimes I feel guilty about that. But I'll steal a point Phil made over the weekend. There's still a lot of people that worked on a movie production. So Fantastic Beasts is a bad example because he won't be there. The next Johnny Depp movie, if I have an interest, I wouldn't hesitate. I would go see it because, again, there are a lot of people that worked on it and had a part in it. And I don't feel guilty. But there are people that prefer not to separate it and don't want to support anything that person's tied to. And I get that. It's not me, but I totally get it.
Well, and I'm more or less talking about the cancel culture of either, in the case, as soon as it came out, and without even waiting for proof or courts or anything, there were people who were like, fuck Johnny Depp, without hearing anything of it, right? And it just was on my mind because it happened. It didn't happen this weekend, but it made news again officially this weekend. And that's really what I'm asking you guys. Not so much do you personally watch the films, but where do you think, oh, yeah, this person, like, okay, Kevin Spacey, people shouldn't wait because he's one of the early ones, right? He was one of the early big names when a lot of this stuff started becoming what is now a thing of, oh, crap, people are doing really bad things that's coming out. People waited to hear what he had to say or to see what would happen. And very quickly it became, oh, no, this is bad. Why do people not wait anymore? I mean, why is it? That's my question. Is like, what do you guys think for you personally when you hear the first that Johnny Depp possibly beat his wife? Are you instantly get rid of him or do you wait?
I think that the thing has a lot to do with your experiences, right? So Charles, let's every day you go to 7-Eleven and you pick up a Mountain Dew. And then all of a sudden, every time you go into that 7-Eleven, when you grab a Mountain Dew, it's at a code. Are you going to keep going there the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th time that you've grabbed a Mountain Dew that's out of code? Or are you going to find someplace else to go?
Well, I mean, it's 7-Eleven, and Mountain Dew is like a Twinkie. It lasts forever. So I don't know. I get your but no. See, now
I was trying to make it something relatable for you.
Yeah, I appreciate
you know what I mean?
That. Because I can't get.
You go to 7-Eleven and you drink Mountain Dew, and like that's
and
you also can't read.
Oh, dude.
Roll Tide.
But out of date there. I had to infer, Bill, but yeah, out of code. He's not a Southerner, man. It's fine.
I just worked in
Charles.
retail.
It's. I agree with you. I agree with you completely because it's always people are trying to get their voice heard first and loudest about stuff like this. Now, look, when the Hardwick thing came down the line, the first thing I was doing was talking to Paul Klotz and Chris Wisdom, and I was like, yo, I kind of believe this shit. But I didn't have a public opinion about it, right?
Right.
Sure.
And I was like, I kind of can see it. I can kind of see it with his cocky-ass attitude that this could be how it looks on paper. Like, that's kind of believable. Now, I personally said I'm going to keep this off of my spectrum and jumping on things, and I normally do because when things come out that quickly about literally anything, most of the time, 80% of the time, the reports are either misleading or wrong, right? If there's,
or at least they're not fully formed,
flushed out. Like,
yeah.
All right, oh god, this is a terrible fucking example.
Are
But
you saying it's fake news?
No, I'm not saying that it's fake news. But what I'm saying is like
news.
If there's a situation either at an airport or a public school, everybody jumps on and is saying, I heard this, I heard that, I heard this, I heard that. And it's just a bunch of chatter without any goddamn proven facts of what's going on. That's why first reporting is always the worst, because it's just so much bullshit that you have to literally wait until it fucking filters out to the bottom and what's going on rises to the top. And that's kind of how I live with these situations where these people in film and music. That's kind of how I always handle it. Now, I'll have my personal opinions about it, but until things start to get a little bit concrete, I normally don't publicly jump on anything. And that's what we did as a show back when Breaking the Panel was around, right? That the Hardwick story broke on a Tuesday, and we're sitting there on Wednesday just like, how do we not cover this? Because it's just too fresh, right?
Yeah.
We had zero news within even 24 hours of it happening. So I can't talk for others, but I mean, I always just kind of sit back and wait and watch what's going on.
Maybe I'm a bad person because, like, for Hardwick, I never liked Hardwick, and so when that came out, I was like, meh, not shocked. Which I think I don't know. I don't know the guy personally.
I think that actually has a lot to do with it. Your personal stance, like you were talking about experiences, your personal opinion, like, let's say I'm not a big fan of the recent Johnny Depp. I think the Lone Ranger, recent Pirates of the Caribbean films, they're all just garbage fires. So when I hear these things, it just reinforces my already preconceived notion over who he is and what he does. If it's somebody who I have a soft spot for, if it's like I don't know, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but if there's someone who I've got Tom Hanks, yes. If I hear something about Tom Hanks, I've already got a preconceived notion that he's this nice guy, and it's going to take a longer and more convincing argument to move him in the other direction. So I think all of us have our own little spectrums of where we hold people, and like we take in the information and filter it based on our own perception, and our own perception is reality. So cancel culture is one of these weird things because then it's groupthink taking over perception. Yeah. And if anyone's seen that episode of Black Mirror at the bees, the robot bees, it's a bad example. It's a bad example of it, but it's also a really good example of how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, Evan, as you were saying that, sorry, Mike, I was thinking Chappelle's show where they're talking about R. Kelly. If people already loved R. Kelly, it takes so much for you to believe otherwise because of your personal bias.
Yeah, she's got to be holding her ID and her birth certificate as as R. Kelly's grandma is there. Yeah, that was a fucking great bit.
But
so
yeah, no, like
Mike,
I think it's really tough, right? Because like, it doesn't surprise me when people in power do fucked up shit. And so like when people in America have a ton of money and can do whatever they want, and then they do, like,
well, okay, there's that, and then there. I mean, because there's people who are poor who do the same thing, right? And
Of
that's
course.
as much as I hate, honestly, relating anything to religion. It is like, okay, but go with the fable rather than religion. If you live in a glass house, you don't throw stones, right?
Right.
And that's the thing is the people who jump on things so fast and we got to get rid of them and cut ties. And I guarantee you give me an hour with you,
Dude.
and I'll find something shitty you do with this in a
Dude,
normal
I
conversation.
did a bunch of shitty stuff when I was younger. Like I know for a fact that like I'm learning every day how to be better. And like I'm still fucking up because we're people, like you said, Charles.
Mhm.
Like, and so like if we're in a world now where the stuff that we did when we didn't know any better is what we're judged on forever, then like that's one thing. But like, I mean, this happened, recently,
Well, I
and
really
so
want
like
to talk
that's,
about the bigger topic versus
right. Yeah, and I
actually,
think
do you
it's
think Johnny Depp's whatever.
but I think those two things are like unfairly like correlated sometimes.
Correlated? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and also too, life is kind of like a math equation, and we add and subtract and square root and divide all the time, and our sum is always changing. And because of that constantly changing thing and all the variables involved, we can't just pick a fixed point and judge on that fixed point. We have to wait to see the sum. And that goes to Mike's point about knowing things when we were younger and not knowing things and then changing as we get older. And we can't, I don't think in good conscience we can make a solid judgment based on one particular subset of the equation. We need to look at the big proper whole thing.
In
And
general, sure. In specifics, there's definitely stuff that's fucked up, and we know it's fucked up from the start,
sure.
right? Like,
Yeah,
Those quadrilateral equations that people pull out, those are dirty business.
Yeah, I don't need
Common
to hear.
Core.
I don't need to hear any more of Kevin Spacey's side of the story. Like,
right, exactly.
like, nah, dog, I'm good. However, I still paid to see Baby Driver. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean,
You know.
and Chris Hardwick, he immediately lost everything and got some of it back. I mean, he's working again. He's not blacklisted or anything, but it's
Look,
an issue.
Chris, you know what Chris Hardwick did? He sat and talked to people about a TV show and
just saying in
basically
general.
just had them recap the show. He did nothing. And Chris Hardwick does nothing but think about himself.
I hear
And the
some-
Nerdist
some-
podcast is basically him talking to friends about himself.
Yeah, I just hear some jealousy from Tony about he didn't
Yeah.
get to host those shows.
Not jealous at all. I call it what it is, man.
I'll also show you, Phil, some love. What you got?
Just real quick, you may feel like that, but I just re-listened to the Nerdist from 2015 where he had Alec Trebek on, and it was as heartwarming this week than it was the original time that I listened to it. You'll have to look back into the entire thing and find it, but it was in 2015 around May, and I remember watching and listening to it live, and it was just so joyful and happy. And re-listening to it this weekend, it was great. So say what you will about Chris. That episode was really good.
I appreciate you sharing it. I'm not going to go back and listen to it.
No,
but
I wouldn't expect you to.
I do appreciate not letting me crap on him too much. I appreciate talking about that episode.
I gotta say, we see what we think is all their lives on parade, and we really don't. There's so much behind the scenes you don't see. And I want to say, I don't think it's equal to get celebrity status, and that means you get to open up. The whole world gets to see your life and judge you on that. That's not equal work for equal pay. I don't have a better thing to say there, but that's not how this works. And ultimately, I mean, yeah, you'll make good arguments about Warner Brothers and this and that, and the other, but I think we need to slow down as a people, as a human race, and go, no, we all say really ugly shit. I've said some things I really regret to people I love, and have had.
But
to work
dude,
through
I
that.
think
on this
Yeah,
show
you
that I
introduced
regret.
me the way you introduced me on this very show.
Fuck you, Hammond. You're out. I don't care anymore.
Case in
Anyway,
point.
let's just
Case in
love.
point.
All right. So, if I know we talked about this a long time ago, probably on Breaking the Panel that was coming, but if you missed it, over on Hulu, there's Hellstrom. And I totally forgot this show was coming out. It is a Marvel show based on the supernatural aspects of the Marvel universe. And it's I flipped on Hulu, I guess about a month ago now, and I saw the big advertisement banner right at the top. I'm like, wait a minute, Hellstrom. There's only one Hellstrom I know of. That's Marvel Comics. And you read the description, and it doesn't say anything about Marvel. It doesn't say anything really about the characters from Marvel. It talks about the brother and the sister and Damon, which is spelled like the comic book, right? The character, and Anna. And like, well, that's not her name in the comics, but okay. And ultimately it is. It's straight up the Hellstroms from Marvel. The first, you don't get the flip. You don't get the comic book flip like the movies, but it comes out with whoever made it, and then the second in association with Marvel TV Studios. Solid show if you like supernatural, Catholic-based supernatural stories, right? And they do not reference, unless it's an Easter egg that I missed, which is possible. They don't reference openly any other Marvel stuff. They don't talk about the Marvel Universe. It's just, if you don't know it's Marvel, you can just enjoy this supernatural thriller that had one or two twists. It had some pretty predictable stuff in it too, but it had a couple fun twists. But if that's your thing, that's, go forth and enjoy. I enjoyed the whole series. I hope they make another one of it. I want to see where they go. I'm not going to give you spoilers if you don't know who the characters are, but there's a lot of places they can go and bring it more comic book-esque into there. I want to ask Hammond, where can they find you? No, I don't care. This is my show.
All right, fine.
Give me a place they can find you real quick.
Right here on this show.
I don't hate you. I promise.
When you take over for Charles.
Hey, come on, Hammond. You can produce the shit out of the show. Come on, take over.
So you can find me on Twitter at jhammondc. I'm at jhammondc.com. I produce soundography and co-host Beyond the Playlist with jhammondc. I produce 4 or 5 other shows for people, including America's Next Top Podcasting Idol and Current Geek. So I'm kind of everywhere.
It's cool, man. You can find me at charlesmcfall.com. Charles McFall all across social media, or Rock Out of Podcasting across social media. You can find all of that there. Finding the Stories has come to an end for season 1. So check all of that out. I'm working on some in-between stuff. Season 2 now will probably launch in January. I've got a few more interviews to do for season 2, but check all that out. We are Almost Daily Pod. Hit us up, almostdailypod@gmail.com. Of course, on all your podcatchers out there, you can download it. Facebook is Almost Daily Pod. And, somebody started an Instagram. It wasn't me. I don't even know who's running it. And they ain't posting shit. So fucking turn it over to us so we can post some pictures.
Charles ain't going to do shit with that. You keep it, but actually post pictures.
I'm going to get Mikey over here to do it, because Mikey, he likes it.
Because I'm young?
Yeah.
You understand the Insta.
All right, Boomer.
You're down with the gram, man. So yeah. And you know what? I'm actually thinking about starting an OnlyFans just so y'all could fuck right off. I'm like, no, go check it out. OnlyFans.com/ADD. Ain't got shit on it, but it's there, motherfuckers. Go check it out. All right, we'll be back next episode with Mike. And he had I forget what it is right now, but he had a serious topic. So you know what? Come check it out. It's gonna be awesome.
Selling me a little strong on that, a serious topic.
It was kind of serious.
That's fine. Yeah, it's all right. We'll see what happens with it. It could be serious. B-Mail in the chat.
Yeah, it's not. Well, okay.
B-Mail in the chat says no one can replace Trebek. I suggested Chris Hardwick. Tony.
Oh man, I'm glad I didn't pick that up in the chat, because then I would have gotten visibly angry. Dude, do you know? Oh my god, dog.
I gotta grab a drink real quick.
Yeah. And Hammond, this is our long break. If you need need
Okay.
anything.
I'm gonna go urinate. I'll be back.
Yeah. Take 5. Take 5.
I don't think I can. I can't do it from here. Let me. Nope, we don't have that. Yeah, no, we have not affiliated yet on Twitch. I was going because all the other shows are affiliated. I'm like, I need to run a commercial. But yeah, we can't run commercials right now because we're not affiliated yet. We'll get there.
All right, and I am breaking as well.
All right, well, this is how it goes, everybody. They leave me to be all weird and alone with you guys. So you're gonna watch me text some people to see if they can fill a shift tomorrow because we had somebody call out at the fucking last minute, and we're already struggling to put people in the truck, but that's quite all right. How you doing, Bill? Oh, Krugels and Swan, I modded you ladies up. So if anybody else pops into the actual chat on Twitch, because I'm not in that, I'm in the StreamYard chat. You now have the band power, and you can smack them around.
Yo. So
crap, I do owe Swan a text. I just don't remember what it's about. No, I'm sorry. But Mike, man, I just ran out of time. I was literally gonna buy a pack of cigarettes and just open up the show. Was like, popping. I was like, Bud, I told you, Bud, I was just getting the cigarettes, Bud.
Did you see Steph's comment during the conversation about
not.
reading Julius Caesar?
Yeah.
Like, I think that point is so powerful and important to remember that, like, this is human nature. We've been doing this shit since time immemorial, right? Like, people having an opinion about stuff that isn't, their personal experience. And so, like, for that, like, the difference, I think, now is that everyone is online and talking to each other in a way that we've never had before as a society. Like, we're so much more connected than we've ever been, and people know everything about each other in a way that we've never known each other. And so it's like such a different world that we live in now that it's like, yo, we got to be fucking better. Like, all of us.
Yeah, I think we can hear more
and we're
noise,
not there
but we're
yet.
more disconnected.
We're just
people have to want to be better, and I think that's where the wrench in the gears.
Yeah, Tony. I mean, I was gonna say that it's like humans we want to see people fail for some reason. So as soon as you hear somebody successful, possibly doing something horrible, or I mean, look at Hugh. Yeah, I see that. The Notting Hill
with that line.
Hugh, the guy was in Notting Hill.
Yeah, Hugh Grant.
Thank you. You're right. He got arrested when he had gotten a hooker. It turned out to be a dude or whatever. He lived that down very quickly. But
you might be mixing him up with. I think you're mixing him up with Eddie Murphy.
Was it just a regular hooker with Hugh? Because he got the same kind of story.
Yes, it was multiple prostitutes with Hugh Grant. And like, so honestly, what that says is just legalize sex work already and stop fucking stigmatizing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, you're talking about baggies but the whole world went, ooh. And like within a year, he was back in a rom-com and everyone's like, oh, we love you. Because
meanwhile, cut to 15 years ago, 20 years ago, Pee-wee got busted for jerking off, and like his career's over.
So here's a funny thing. You want to hear a joke about that? I got a joke.
Like, Pee-wee was a children's show, and he was caught performing sexual acts in public, like in a porn theater. You have to lose your job for that. Like, that's
yes,
I agree. Got shot in the back of the head in a theater. Lincoln and the guy sitting in front of Pee-wee.
Hey-o. Yes.
Golly,
no, I agree. I agree he had to be fired, but I really think his career, like his entire career, was destroyed because of
his entire career was Pee-wee, though. Like, what had Paul Rubens done otherwise?
That's fair. That's fair. In fact,
Like,
to your
Steve
point,
from Blue's Clues, if he got caught jerking it in the theater, people would be like, "Yo, sorry,
it's
Steve."
like if Weird Al Yankovic got caught playing classical music with Kenny G, he'd be done.
to
No, that's different because everybody knows Weird Al is a genius. Like,
to your point, Mike, Pee-wee at a point almost didn't know the difference between himself, Paul Rubens, and the character.
right.
Um,
And so, like,
so
I think,
that's I agree with you. I think that's a valid point.
Yeah, but let's not forget Mystery Men. That movie's fantastic.
Yeah,
Paul
I
Rubin
mean,
was
he
that-
was in
Paul Rubin
stuff.
was also caught with some things in his pornographic collection. So there's a little gray there.
Did he have cherry porn?
Sure. I don't know what that means, but I'll say yes.
No, what's the name of the character with the chair, the talking chair? What
Oh,
was it?
yeah, shit.
Cherry. Oh,
It was
Something
actually
in
like that.
various states of reupholstery.
something like that. Yeah.
No, like, I don't know what he was found with, so like, I'm almost uncomfortable even joking about it. Because if it's what I think it is, super fuck him forever. Like, but
But so was what's his name? Pete Townsend.
Yep.
You know, everyone's a monster.
yeah.
So that's a high note to go into the next.
Oh
I do think-
shit. Oh, sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I'm interrupting. Bill in chat asked who would, this might come up during my topic, but Bill in chat asked who would take over Jeopardy. My thought on that is Jeopardy needs to take a little bit of a break, like not replace them immediately, but then who said it?
Yo,
Was it
Mike.
Emily? No, fucking Emily said Graham Norton. Oh God, that would be so good. Oh,
Actually, you know who would be? I would what's his name? Neil deGrasse Tyson do it?
I think he's got too much baggage behind him.
Yep. Another guy with
I
a
like
ton of baggage.
Honestly, they need
Who's,
to go with an unknown. They need to go with somebody who hasn't been on TV and is a big celebrity. That's the only way I think this is going to work.
Like Mark
They need to
Maron?
just do hologram Alex
Oates.
Trebek. Oh my God, Mark Maron would be fucking amazing.
well, if we're doing holograms, it might as well just be Tupac.
That's what I was gonna say. Or you just get Will Ferrell to play Alec Trebek.
Or Ronnie James Dio.
To play Alex Trebek.
yeah, the guy from Ghost to play Alex Trebek.
Maron's an interesting choice. I don't know how I feel about that.
I think it would have a different vibe.
Oh yes.
But I
you
think
fucking idiot. No. The answer is Australia. God, these fucking people.
are you kidding me?
That's a perfect marriage.
Mark Wahlberg. Nice.
Oh, speaking of terrible dudes.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch is bad guy?
Oh,
We
you
could found a
didn't...
transformer.
So big surprise here. A guy who grew up in the middle of Boston is a super racist.
I was gonna say, isn't he like? Yeah.
Was a super racist.
Oh, speaking
Who
okay,
knows
so how
now?
about Matt Damon could do it?
Matt Damon. Charles,
I can
are you
see.
almost ready to have a show again, bud?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it. Oh, you weren't asking me, were you?
No. I know you're ready, Tony.
If you were, I'm ready. I'm looking at like Jimmy Carr.
Oh my God, Shaq
baggage.
is such a good choice.
Shaq?
Holy shit, Run Jump
It could be a
Stomp.
no, it could
Jimmy
be a
Carr would be
co-host.
great.
It could be Shaq and Charles Barkley.
Shaq and
All right.
Penny. Back again,
Richard,
baby.
Shaq and Penny?
But then you gotta have. Was it Lil Penny? Who was the?
Yeah.
Half penny.
Alonzo Mourning can come back.
Hey, Penny. Or Straw Penny.
I was
All right.
Can you
thinking.
imagine
ready?
3
Richard
ex-NBA
Ayoade.
players?
Oh, Iode would be great.
Oh, you
But
know who
Shaq works
what's his
too.
name? Inspector Gadget. What's his name? The guy that played
Matthew Broderick?
Matthew
yes,
Broderick?
he could do it.
Ferris Bueller?
No, bring in Doesn't matter. Let's do this.
Even
Mike.
merchant?
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Is Ben Stein still alive?
You're listening to Almost Daily Discourse with your perfectly adequate hosts, Phil, Tony P, Charles, and here with today's topic is Mike.
What's going on, you trash pandas? It's me, Mike. Coming to you live right now on Twitch at Almost Daily Pod. And we've got a special guest today. We have got Hammond with us. Hammond, say hello to the friendly folks at home.
Hello, friendly folks at home. Why are you showing Tony?
Because two people running the cameras does not work. That's why.
Charles, you can blame whoever you want, bud. I know you've been off for a month. You're a little rusty. It's all right, bud. You'll get back on the horse. I promise. Hammond, will you please introduce yourself now?
My name's Hammond Chamberlain. I host Beyond the Playlist with Jam and C. I also co-host Soundography with Brian Ibbett, and I produce a fistful of other shows like America's Next Top Podcasting Idol and Current Geek and From the Future with Love. So I'm kind of everywhere, kind of behind the scenes, but
Phil,
I like coming on shows and talking.
When are we starting our own show called A Fistful of Other Shows, where we just steal Chris Hardwick and what's his face, Joel McHale's bit, and just talk about other podcasts as a podcast?
So like the soup, except for podcasts?
Yeah.
Mike, I'm in. I'm totally in. We'll call it Chicken Soup for the podcast.
I think Fistful of Other Shows is perfect.
Yeah. Then we could talk about lots of things.
That's a great title, actually.
Yeah. Let's someone get that.com right now. And Mike and I'll talk after the show.
Phil, you and I, let's call dibs on executive producers right now.
I don't want to do any more jobs with any of you assholes.
That's what
Is that how executive producing works?
Put her name on
Wow,
it. We get
Phil.
money.
Yeah,
Oh,
executive producer is just a useless title they give to insecure people so they feel special.
No, I would do the work, Phil. You could hang out with us. What, you don't want to hang out with me, Phil?
This seems
We
like a
don't have to
trap.
talk about that right now. Actually, it does lead into my topic pretty well, actually, today, which is what feels worthy of the term adulting to you? I know, like, it's a term that gets thrown around for basically anything at all that means responsibilities in 2020 and, before that. Somebody said it in chat earlier. I think it was Swan used adulting, and I thought, ooh, it's like she knows. It's like she's giving me a segue
I
into
thought
my
you
topic.
talked to her or something.
Woo! It was good. And so
We don't
I
talk
want
to
to
Swan.
know. Oh, I love Swan. We talk about Swan all the time. I want to know what y'all do that, like, you know what? I am proud of myself for doing this thing that, like, is just a normal responsibility, but I did it.
Wiping.
You have to teach me because I still don't know how to do that correctly.
from side to side.
What the fuck? What? The actual fuck. I hate you so much.
I think
It's such a
B-Mail.
good joke. It's such a good joke.
I think B-Mail in chat makes a good point. You guys keep laughing. I'll carry the show. I got this.
Thanks, Tony.
Adulting is when you have space on your credit card, but you actually don't use it. And I think that's brilliant because it took me a long while to get there. I'd never understood, why wouldn't you go buy a PS5? The money's there, right? Wrong.
Or it
It's really
will be.
not. I get to come home with the PS5. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
what card I swipe to buy it. So I think that's a great point from B-Mail.
Yeah, I think for myself, to kind of give us like an example of how this might work as a topic, one of the things that I do that I don't do as often as Steph would like, or myself, sweeping and mopping the floors, like that to me, whenever I get it done, I feel like, fuck yeah, I killed it. I adulted the shit out of my house. And like, I know, like that's not a big deal, right? Like everybody does that shit. But like, I feel good about myself when I do it. I mean, I know, Tony, you got a robot butler now, but like,
yeah, I don't do it. When I was working in the office, I had a cleaning lady that would come every once in a blue moon. And now that I'm working from home, I think that's ridiculous. So then I bought a robot vacuum. So I don't know. I don't know, Mike. Maybe if
good American jobs with robots, Tony. Good on you, sir.
Maybe if I swept something one day, I will feel what you're feeling. But until that day,
it's the same way the Lakers feel.
For me, it's just staying on top of bills. Like if I put some money aside, like, oh, I'm gonna put some of the. If I put something, it doesn't matter what, into savings. Like, oh, I'm gonna put this over into savings. I'm like, oh, look out, big boy over here.
Yeah,
didn't spend that last $5. I am adulting hard. Look out now. And then I ride that high for like a week. Like, dude, I am doing this right. And
I deserve to buy an extra slice because I saved money last week.
I saved $5. Time to get a PS5.
One PS for every dollar I saved.
Exactly.
So for me, I want to kind of. So I'm a father. I have 2 daughters, and this year it's been very hard to stay kind of stoic and kind of positive about things.
Sure.
And so the idea of kind of helping not shape their view, but help color their view so that it's not always doom and gloom. And so there's always positivity and there's things like that going on. That's been the biggest struggle. And that's when I feel like I'm actually adulting. It's when I'm trying to set a good example of being fair and equitable and looking for the facts and trying to be positive and upbeat and kind of saying that it's not all bad. That's the thing that actually has gotten me feeling the most adult in this last year, is just that feeling of, okay, I've got people that care and depend on me and my worldview, so I have to make sure I'm kind of right.
Yeah, I like that.
That's
actual
legitimate adulting.
Yeah.
It's a really
when
good
I raise
example.
my kids right, that's when I feel like an adult. You fucking losers is like the subtext to all that, right? Like,
no, I also feel like an adult when I wipe. So,
I mean, I thought Mike is like, well, I stand at my desk. Well, I'm an adult because all you fuckers sit down. What's wrong with you?
Oh, I'll stand, but you'll be looking at my belly button.
Which he also does not wipe.
A real adult move is to get a shirt that covers your whole torso. But like,
Mike. So
you can also wear what you want, bud. Like, fuck it. 2020. Let's see that little belly, Hammond.
You bring up clothes.
Is with this fucking show today.
But you know what? Buying new socks. That's fucking adulting, because that's not fun at all.
No, actually going out and buying new underwear that actually don't have holes and aren't ripped up and don't look like garbage. That's a big deal too.
Yeah, dude. Most certainly.
I had to.
And then taking the extra step of throwing the old stuff away because you just
okay. Now don't get cocky, Phil. Don't get cocky.
Don't talk to me about underwear not getting cocky here, Hammond.
One of you guys brought up kids. That's the hardest adulting in the world, is to sit there in this virtual schooling nowadays, and not having the. I don't want to get in the whole education thing, but basically there's some issues with the teachers where sometimes they explain things really well and sometimes they don't, and just to have to stay on top of everything, the teachers, the kids, looking at the work myself to make the list, to make the kids do the list. Oh my God, but you do it because it's so much easier to go, you know what? Fuck this school. You can
also,
get there's
also that moral argument you have of, do I just do it for them?
Oh, I don't have that argument. They're either doing it or they're not doing it. I don't ever do it for them. You know,
I sometimes will see busy work.
He doesn't
And-
know how.
I sometimes see
Tony,
busy work,
stop.
and I'm like, I can cut and paste this for her in 10 minutes, or she can copy it in an hour.
Yeah, I don't like
You gotta
busy
let
work
them.
either.
Gotta let them do it. So I'm like the old single childless guy. So like I literally refuse to. Don't bring up no teacher busy work. Wait, Kruggle's in the chat. She's gonna get you. But I always feel like I'm fighting against the idea of growing up, because it is children that kind of help you take that step. It is a spouse that helps you build that next step. And so I'm like, nah, I'm not doing any of it. I'm fighting against it. But when I have to update my LinkedIn and adjust my resume, I feel like I'm kind of adulting a bit. Like, let me take these skill assessments and put them on my LinkedIn and share my network. And, and it's like, oh man, what kind of adult crap is this? Why, what happened? Where did we go wrong?
But Tony, you take care of your robot. You keep your batteries charged. That's taking care of another being.
Yeah.
And even Hammond. So just today, I posted about how having a Roomba is like a child. And people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, it gets stuck. I got to pull it from under the couch. It dies. It's full. It's beeping at me. It's trying to get in the room. Oh, my, I can't handle this. And everyone's like, I'll trade you because that's nothing like children. But that alone is like
the same.
Too much responsibility with a robot vacuum. Had I known, if I could return it,
But you've already named it and changed its clothes and.
Oh no, I never named it. Man, is that what you're supposed to do?
Name your. Let's have a naming contest right now.
Oh yeah, in chat, name Tony's Roomba.
I'm good.
Also, Hammond, you don't understand. Have you seen the cost of robot school? Crazy. You can't just send your robot to a public school.
No, you have to private school that. Yeah, you have to private school that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. Al Haney in chat says, I feel like an adult when I have to call customer service and get things corrected. Because you know how many people will just take the hit on whatever that hit is. Either the product's wrong or they didn't charge you right or whatever. Instead of doing the conflict and going through the robot menu and having to jump through five different people.
It doesn't have to be a conflict. What's really adult is when you handle it like an adult and just like, hey, I've got this issue.
Let's work together to customer service. Yeah, no, you start there and you have to hit yes, no, that number.
Okay,
no,
let's remember he's a public servant that deals with people. He's supposed to be the compassionate one.
Like that was my job.
Nobody taught you that in paramedic school. Shut up. But no, I mean, you know what I'm saying, Mike. When you have to jump through, you get the robot.
Charles.
I need customer service. What?
Mike works call center. That's like he does the IVRs and everything.
Mike supports people who work call center. Am I not wrong here?
Okay.
Now, yes, but I started at the bottom, and now I'm here.
So I'll put this caveat on it. If Mike was the one that the first ring, he picked up the phone and he handled it like a human being, good on you, Mike. Because most customer service is robot. No customer service, no robot. Finally, you get a human being who reads off a screen and can't actually answer a question. Then you get somebody who will actually listen to what you have to say. And if you can keep it together and be polite at that point, you're a good human being and adulting well.
What if you started
kilted pipe guy? He has one that I'm actually going to alter.
I went out for cigarettes again, Mike. Fuck you.
P3PO. There you go.
I'll come back to the chat and write all these down. I'm going to post them somewhere. We'll do a vote. I actually, and this is no exaggeration. I bought a cord for my camera. It's the wrong size again, because apparently I'm an idiot. There's no other way to explain it. But so I looked it up on Amazon. I was like, how much did I pay for that? It was $16.99. And I was like, no, I'm going to return it. And I thought of Bill just today. I pulled the box out of the garbage because the first thing I do is open it and throw it away. I don't know why. Like, it's open, trash. I pulled the box out of the garbage. I did the little return online and I have it waiting for me. And I'm going to go to Kohl's and I'm going to get my $16.99 back and probably a couple Kohl bucks in the meantime.
And
I
so
felt
proud.
I was proud of myself, Mike.
Okay,
Thank
we
you.
could end the show right now because you have just won. Who cares about kids? F the kids.
Now I gotta still go into the calls.
His micro
Um,
HDMI cord wins the day.
It'll
I
happen
am-
this weekend. It'll happen.
Yeah. I am conditionally proud, Tony.
I appreciate that. It is now in the to-do section of my
Yep.
shelf. It has to happen now. Once it's there, getting it there is the hardest part. So
You have
We'll
to
see.
do shelves? Explain me your organizational system.
It's
there,
like a
Tony.
Kanban shelf system. So like he had it in the backlog and he moved it over into to do. So like that's he's
Oh, I thought it
ready.
was like
I have a
physical
little-
shelves, like in his wall
like
somewhere.
it's these old metal government inboxes.
Well, that's
Every
a
time
big
he
adulting
moves
thing.
something, he has to like punch a card first to make sure it's time stamped. And like
And while we're at it, like I said, I have no problem telling you it was about $16. I'm gonna get that returned. PS5.
Oh man,
Someone's
but-
got PS5 on the brain. Just saying.
right?
Yeah. Y'all were joking about organization, but organizing things is very an adult thing to do. To finally grab some shelves from Lowe's, put them together, and then put shit in boxes on the shelf. What about you, Philip? You're an executive producer. What do you do to adults?
I throw things away that I no longer need.
That's tough, man.
So
That
I
is
will
adulting.
once a month go through this office, which, as you can
Wow.
see, we've got a lot behind me to deal with. But I'm done with it, right? And I think I'm done just buying useless shit that I don't really need anymore.
Whoa, let's not take
Whoa,
something.
whoa,
Let's
whoa.
not say
No, no,
something
no,
we
no.
can't take back.
So
Yeah.
like the shelf I have behind me that has all the Nintendo memorabilia, I don't need it. I don't fucking need it anymore. So I'm done with it. Another thing that I've done to harken back to what Hammond was talking about.
Whoa, let's have an intervention here. Nintendo memorabilia is how I know you, sir. What do you mean you're fucking done with it? You don't get to throw that shit away. What are you
Well,
doing?
I was thinking about this while I was doing the Super Metroid stream. It's just like I bought a Samus gun. Why? Why do I need that? Am I ever gonna? It's just gonna sit up there and do nothing. I don't need that.
Hey, right
That's a
here
waste of
behind me is a
money.
Battlestar Galactica blaster. I'm never going to use it, but it sure looks cool hanging on my wall.
Yeah, but this one doesn't because it was fucking $12 and looks like it was put together by the same people who put your iPhones together, dude.
I
like
love your
it's a.
pointing to your hazmat sign though. by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's
I
the same.
actually bought
It's one
that
and the
blaster
same.
at the Dragon Con where I met you guys, and the vendors booth scared me to never come back.
Now, see,
You'll have to introduce me
some
to it.
things do have, some sentimental value, and it sounds like that does. That blaster, you're like, yo, I remember where I got this. It sounds like Phil's crappy Samus gun just does it. Is it bringing you joy, Phil? Is it
No,
bringing you
don't
joy?
bring that bullshit to me.
Thank you, Phil.
But no, like I went through the closet, that I have, which turns out to be like a junk closet. I just said I'm done with this shit. I don't need a lot of this, so I tossed it, right? And my office looked good. It looked really nice and fucking where I wanted it. And now again, it's been a month, so I'm gonna do it again probably this weekend.
eBay, motherfucker.
No,
Are you
Tony told me
literally
just to
throwing
throw
this
them
stuff
away.
Are you
Throw
literally
things
throwing
away. Nothing that I have is worth value.
That's not adult. It was valuable to you, and it's going to be valuable to somebody.
I'm sorry. Are you putting? You can't tell me how to feel about adulting. You can tell yourself how you feel.
Yeah,
But-
that's hoarding
that was-
talk.
That
You're
was
going down a
great
hoarding
adulting
lane.
when you stood up for yourself there,
I'm
bud.
not
Thank
saying
you.
I'm not saying keep it. I'm saying settle it.
No, I'm not going to.
These
you know what?
newspapers are going to
effort.
be valuable one day. You got to keep those newspapers.
You know what,
eBay-
Charles? I'll
eBay
just
is a
send
lot
you
of
all my.
work.
I'll just send you all my shit, Charles. There you go. You can deal with it.
Oh, then we'll play. Guess what? New piece of Phil shit is in my shelf this week.
So to harken back to what Hammond was talking about before, when the school shut down and the kid was here home every day, I had to find different activities not to just put him in front of the television. I had to find different ways to keep him engaged and having fun while local parks are shut down. And we couldn't go to the hockey rink anymore. So I had to figure out different ideas to keep him busy and active as a high-energied 4-year-old without just leaning on that crutch of YouTube and Minecraft. So I was pretty, obviously every so often, if he's been really well and really good, man, you get that reward of like an hour of YouTube. But
once a month, he made him clean his office.
Yeah, it's true. Now I don't have any more amiibos. It's weird. So that's something that really, rang true when you were talking about that, Hammond. And then the thing that really I hate the most was I had issues voting in this election, right? I went to the polls. They couldn't find my name. They sent me home. And I just kept going back and going back and going back until my ballot finally appeared at the polling place. I could have just said, no, fuck
voter
this.
suppression.
I could have said, fuck this. I'm done with it, right? I tried once. I tried twice. My shit's not there. I'm just not going to go. I'm not going to vote.
You should have just given different names. Voted a bunch.
Vote early, vote often. That's what I
That's
say.
right. Amen.
But also, as I was waiting for my ballot to just be printed by the machine behind them, I had an option. I had an option to either get on Twitch and stream for a little bit until, they finally called me, or I did what a fucking adult would do, and I went out and I did some yard work. I hate doing yard work. I hate it. I hate mowing the lawn. I hate all of it. And on my property, I have 7 trees, and we're in leaf season. So that time, instead of going out and playing video games and streaming and being fun and silly on the internet, was just spent listening to podcasts and raking the entire lawn until there was nothing left until 2 days later when 600 more pounds of leaves fell. But, I hate doing it, but yet that's my level of adulting where it's just like, I really want to play video games, but I'm going to have to do this at some point. These are chores and things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
And that's my definition of adulting. I don't want to do this, but if I don't, it's not going to get done.
This year I bought a lawnmower instead of paying for someone to come cut my grass. And that felt adult
show
as
off.
shit. Like,
No, I
because
think
it was,
I think you made a
used it yet.
mistake.
He just said he bought it.
because
Use
it's
it?
$75. Yeah. 3 times this summer. But if we live in Texas, if you cut it more than 3 times, like, you don't have grass.
Everything
anymore.
You're
died
showing
down.
off.
Yeah. Yeah, you're showing off. But like, it was $75 for the lawnmower, or it was $75 a pop for somebody to come out. And
How
cut the
big
grass.
is your yard?
Tiny.
Oh
You
no, yeah,
pay-
Hammond.
I will come mow your yard for $75 a pop. I will
Yeah,
drive
I
from
mean,
You
Salt
two,
Lake.
weren't you listening? Jesus, you're like Charles in the last segment. What's going on? Fuck.
No, that's good. That Mike, that's good because Hammond, people overcharge for this shit. But just doing the chores, like you were saying, Phil, there's so many times like finally I have like an hour I can sit down and I can play my video game before I have to do the next thing. And I'm like, oh, I need to put out the next episode of ADD, or I need to do this little thing, and it feels like, well, okay, your chores were hours long, but it feels like little things can be hours long. And then you do them, you still have time. But that's the hardest part of adulting, I think, is getting what you don't want done first.
Dude, right now I'm behind on laundry and I need to clean. I live in a small apartment. I live in like a 2-bedroom apartment. So I'm behind on laundry and I need to clean the 2 bathrooms, right? It would take me all of that 2 hours max. Like, dude, just shut up and do it. But I'll be darned, I keep putting it off. It'll happen this weekend. Last weekend, I had an engagement that really did take the whole weekend. So this weekend, I'm determined. I'm by the time we speak again, I'm gonna have clean bathrooms, folded clothes, and an extra $16 from my cord return.
And your
Tony,
PS5 on the way.
Now let me ask you, Tony.
I haven't found one yet, but I'm ready to go.
Do you have to go like down to a laundromat, or do you have in apartment?
No, I have
services?
no, I don't have a washer and dryer in my unit. So,
That's actually even extra work.
yeah, I gotta go down the elevator and put it in the washer and then come back upstairs. Like I don't have to go. It's on site, but it's not in my unit, so it's not difficult.
Yeah.
Now I will tell you a challenge if we're gonna let me let it out. Is quarters. Like I run out of quarters. I'm like, oh, now I gotta get quarters. No, it's not. It's bullshit, Mike.
Like no credit card, no like tap card, none of that.
Nah, dog.
Physical,
Quarters.
actual quarters.
Quarters.
The fuck?
Mike,
Yeah, I
have
live
you
in Georgia.
been to Georgia? Have you been to Georgia?
Where
Are
do
you
get
living in
quarters?
1986?
Right.
Yeah, Georgia. Yeah.
Well,
How-
Georgia,
how
almost
is finding
Alabama,
j-
so even worse.
How was that during the coin shortage? Like how were you finding quarters?
That's why he's behind on laundry.
Yeah, exactly. That's my excuse. and I'm
He's
sticking
a
to it.
daytime stripper. He gets quarters all the time.
They make it hail.
So yeah, so then I have to like go to the bank and get quarters or go to the store. Laura in chat said she will give me some quarters. I appreciate that.
Tony, pay somebody to do it at that point. Like if you're paying to wash your clothes anyway, you may as well get the service where they like come by, they pick them all up, they bring them back to you folded already. Yo, that was like the most adult, like both most
just sounds
adult
like
and most
marriage to me.
baller I felt.
Did
in
you
the
just say
whole
it sounds like your parents to you?
No, I said it sounds like marriage. You
Oh,
get
I
a
thought you said it
little
was like
clean
taking-
laundry fairy when you get married.
No. I'm married 20 years. No.
Mike's face.
Nope.
He's just saying that because Steph's on headphones with it.
No, like she does do the laundry, but like it's not fucking magic. It's a hard job, and I'm super glad I don't have to do it. Because otherwise I'd still be paying somebody. Like
that savings on that lawnmower would be lost because you're like, oh, I'm gonna go drop the laundry off. Now, funny enough, Mike, when I worked in the office, I would bring some of my clothes to a service. And it was so glorious. So glorious. But since I've been working from home, okay, look, if we're being honest tonight, we're opening up. I used to have someone clean the apartment. I used to have some of my clothes done at a service, but since I'm working from home, I'm like, I can do it. I don't need to spend the money. And I can, but I haven't. So that brings us to today.
there you go.
You know, that's the
There you
positive
go.
side of adulting is adult money, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a story about that. I went to the Nickelcade down here in Salt Lake City, and I spent like $25 on nickels. And I had both guns going of one of those shooting games, and the kids are like, "Hey, mister, when's my turn?" I'm like, you get a job, you can monopolize this game as much as you want. I'm playing both guns at the same time.
Amazing.
That'll show them.
Get them. Hammond, if people want to hear you bullying kids, where can they do that?
My house, no. If you want to listen to other things I talk a lot about music on Soundography. I interview people who make a living in creative fields and do lots of really cool creative things on Beyond the Playlist. As far as adulting goes, that's kind of a big deal for me. That show started in 2013. It's still ongoing, and I've never ever missed a week. So there
That's
is
amazing.
that.
Hell yeah. I love that. Something else I love. My buddy Max does a show called True Tales of the Illuminati. His website is truetalesteam.com. Last night he was on Ask the Pokedexpert as a special guest. He played a free thinker that I think would actually, he played a free thinking EMT. Charles, you might have been an inspiration. Yeah, you might have been an inspiration for a character on a show that I have last night. Ask the Pokedexpert. You can check that out on Twitter at Pokedexpert. You can also see the VODs on Twitch at SRSBIZ_network. You can find me at FutureX Skeleton on Instagram. Y'all, I know Phil does like a thing every time where he talks about 5-star reviews. What I want to do is like, I see y'all in the chat right now hanging out. You're talking to us, and at the same time, you're probably talking to somebody else. Invite that person to come watch us. Like, bring your friends. Let's make this a thing that we share with everybody.
Like Clairol. And then they told two people, and they told somebody, and they told somebody. It's kind of like how you pass around the coronavirus.
I didn't get the first part of that reference, but I did get the second one. And I will say that our show is sick. You can find us at Almost Daily Pod on the Twitter, on the Instagram, on the Facebook, on the farmersalmanac.com. You can also send us emails at almostdailypod@gmail.com. I want to know what y'all want to know from us. Shoot us show topics. Be friends with us. I will see you all later. Who do we have? Who's the next episode? Is it Tony? It's going to be Tony coming up next tomorrow on your podcatchers and in just a few minutes here on the live stream, twitch.tv/almostdailypod. Thanks so much, y'all.
Boom.
So we just had a mask mandate come out in Salt Lake City, and people are really being really resistant to it. Yeah, yeah, no joke.
You know, coronavirus happened in March, right?
Yeah, they have never done they've never done a real lockdown. They've never done mask mandates. It's been an absolute disaster. And I was figuring out that if they just made it a multi-level marketing scheme, Utah would fall for it hook, line, and sinker, because they always do. I mean, multi-level marketing and Mormons go hand in hand.
I thought Utah was one of the places doing well.
No. We did well for a while. But in the last 2 weeks, we got triple numbers. People are dying left and right. It's been bad.
Yeah, nobody was going to Utah.
Yeah.
And then some asshole went there.
Yep. Mike Lee.
I don't know who that is.
What? Like they know the dude who brought coronavirus?
No. Okay. Mike Lee works for the Senate. He got it from that Coney Barrett party.
Gotcha.
He's the idiot who compared Donald Trump to a religious figure.
One of.
Yes.
But this is not.
Yeah, Judas.
No, the
Catholic
deep cut Mormon joke.
Catholic school.
Hey, speaking of Catholic school, did you guys see Notre Dame win that nail biter last weekend?
Yes.
And then 1 billion people stormed the field?
Yep. It was like Biden won.
And then 1 billion people stormed the field?
75 million people stormed the field.
Mike, before we do our next episode, do you want to do a magic trick?
You know I love fucking magic.
You like
What does this one do to me? What does this one do to me?
I don't like to I don't want to do too much magic.
I'm gonna restring my guitar as you guys do your bit.
I do have
Tony,
my
I'm
magic
scared.
wand.
You really fucked me up last time.
Well, not everyone was here last time, so they didn't get to see our awesome magic trick.
I'm just nervous, Tony.
Don't be nervous. It'll be fine. You guys ready? Charles looks like he's over there planning a murder. He is. Yeah. And Phil and Hammond are doing a prison music bit or something they have going.
Oh, I'm scared. All right.
Chat, hold on. I need a magic word from chat. Chat, help me out.
Hole punch. Hole punch is your magic word.
What is a good
hole punch?
That's what it says right here in the chat.
Hole punch. Oh, he does say hole punch. All right, we're going with hole punch. Are you ready?
Oh.
This is a real Harry Potter wand.
I know. You fucked me up a couple of times this weekend.
All right. Abra.
Did you guys fucking practice?
Cadabra hole punch. What is that?
What did you do to me?
Oh God, I don't know. What does hole punch do? I don't even know what that spell does.
You look like my 7th grade photo, yearbook photo.
You made me look like Hammond?
All right, we'll do
do anything else.
We'll do one more. B-Mail says you boil the hell out of it. All right, we're going with that.
Oof.
You boil the hell out of it. There we go. I like that. We're sticking
This
with that.
one- Yeah, this one seemed fine. I'm good.
Now you're a real hothead.
Yeah, this bit is still cold.
Don't do anything else. You're on your own there, buddy. You'll have to sort it out.
Oh, fuck all.
All right. We'll get you back to normal.
All right. Thanks, bud.
Back to normal.
Hey,
there we go.
What a guy.
You
What
guys
a
welcome.
guy. Can we start the show now? Jesus Christ.
Almost.
Apparently, I made Charles disappear.
God, I wish.
All right. What am I talking about? Oh, yeah, game shows. All right. I am
Spoilers,
ready.
fuck.
Hold on. Let's turn this banner off. And I will start my own. Let's do it.
You are listening to Almost Daily Discourse with your perfectly adequate hosts, Charles, Mike, Phil, and here with today's topic is Tony P.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Almost Daily Discourse. This is a show about pondering where I, Tony P, bring the magic. I bring the magic. That's not a euphemism. I do real magic tricks over here. You should be watching us on twitch.tv/almostdailypod for just absolute freaking silliness and ridiculousness. Speaking of silly and ridiculous, we're joined today by Hammond Chamberlain. Hammond, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Tony?
I'm good, Hammond. It's been fun having you. We appreciate you hanging out. Real quick, let folks know what you do. I know you said it 100 times, but we're going to say it 101. One more time, Hammond.
So I podcast, I audio edit, I produce shows, I host Beyond the Playlist with Jay Hammond C, and I co-host Soundography with Brian Ibbett. I produce America's Next Top Podcasting Idol, Current Geek, From the Future with Love, and 4 or 5 other shows. Women Kick Ass is another one I work on. So yeah, a lot of behind the scenes podcast stuff, a couple shows. I love coming on shows and talking though.
Awesome, Hammond. It's been fun. Do you like game shows, Hammond?
I do. When I saw this topic, I actually started going through my memories and having some really fond memories of watching a few like old school, like 70s shows.
Oh, perfect. Because unfortunately, on the sadder side, as most of you have probably heard by now, Alex Trebek passed away. And he had been dealing with pancreatic cancer for a while. And so unfortunately, it wasn't a shock, but it's still sad. And it got me thinking, kind of to honor him, let's talk about favorite game shows. However you want to consider a game show. Some of them are a little iffy. Some of them are, maybe not quite a game show, but whatever. If you call it a game show, I'm going with it. Mike looks confused. I'm thinking about some of the sort of reality-esque game show competition
Biggest
shows.
Loser kind of thing.
Yeah, whatever.
Like
I don't care. Whatever.
Hey, Charles, leave my high school nickname out of it, okay?
If you consider it a game show, if it's a game show to you, then we're going with it. I have to open up with, although B-Mail has a great one in chat that I should just interrupt, but I have to open up with the OG, the first and foremost, the home from sick. You got to watch Price is Right. I mean, Price is Right to me is one of the best and surprisingly still one of the best. As a Drew Carey fan, I was not looking forward to him taking it over. And he's taken it and done pretty well.
I got spayed or I got neutered because of that show.
You got
Either way.
spayed and neutered.
Either way the joke works, I'll take it. So what are some of your favorites of game shows? I love them. I think they're fun, and I think they're just simple television, and that's what makes them fun and easy to watch to me. So Bring it on, fellas, and bring it on, chat. What are your favorites?
So I'll go ahead and I'll throw out two that I used to love watching, and for very different reasons. I used to love watching the Hollywood Squares because they always had comedians on and other famous people, but mostly comedians, and the banter and the jokes between the answers were always the best part. Because that was like old school comedian.
Who's your favorite center square?
Oh gosh, there's so many good ones, and I'm blanking. The lady,
Phyllis Diller.
Phyllis Diller, yeah, Phyllis Diller was awesome in the middle. The other show is The Joker's Wild, and I know they tried to revive that with Snoop recently, but the old Joker's Wild was great because for two reasons. One, it was a kind of a cool show, but very specific memory. My grandparents used to have a bird in the back. And they used to turn The Joker's Wild up super loud and watch it. The bird would yell, "Joker, Joker, Joker," every time someone walked in the room. So it's a very specific memory for me, but those two shows really hold a lot of fond memories of watching and enjoying those shows.
I'm sorry, Snoop did a reboot of Joker's Wild and they didn't call it Smoker's Wild?
I think they did, actually.
They actually did.
Okay, thank fucking God. Like, talk about leaving chips on the table, right? Like, oh. Right
Somebody
there.
needs to retroactively get fired.
Kurt says the best game show is clearly Name That Tune.
So I think I've talked about this on the show. I love Beat Shazam. Any iteration or anything that's like, that's just Name That Tune, I'm in. I'm all for it. Count me in.
I like the Gong Show too.
You know,
they redid the Gong Show with Mike Myers. It was so good.
Did they? I never got into Gong Show. Never got into Gong Show. Laura in chat said, no, no whammies. That was probably my second favorite. Press Your Luck. Yeah. Just for the sheer silliness of it. Like, as a kid, I was like, this is ridiculous. And as an adult, I was like, this is ridiculous. And I still love it. I
love No Whammy, Stop. Like, just saying
you do. $500 and a trip to Morocco, or go back 2 spaces.
So for me,
Phil, I'm sorry. Before we move on from Press Your Luck,
please.
then there was the dude that memorized the puzzle. That cheated the hell out of it.
Well, he didn't cheat. He just memorized the pattern.
Yeah,
right. It's not considered cheating.
Yeah,
if you're
like
counting cards,
neither is counting cards.
But for me,
you were about to say, Phil.
Yeah, man, my favorite of all time is just Match Game from the 70s. Right? Match Game 73, 76. You have Gene Rayburn as your host, and just everyone on that fucking panel is just smoking and drinking and having fun. You know, from Richard Dawson to Charles Nelson Riley, Fannie Flagg, Betty White was on there for a while, Nipsey Russell, Brett Sumner. You know, they're all just having a good time, and the premise is, you know, you have 2 contestants, and the host will read a question and have a blank at the end. Big John was so big. How big was he? He was so big that he couldn't fit his blank into a sock. And then it was up to the contestants to pick a word and then have everyone on the panel try to match those words together, man. And it was just so fucking great.
Another iteration on that, though, is the Newlywed Game. Kind of a similar iteration on that same premise.
Yes, but there's more fights on the Newlywed Game, right? You're trying to match up with the person you literally just married, and there's that awkward, baby, you better get this right, or this ring doesn't mean shit to me. You know? So
and
Match
also,
Games always just hit me so well.
Like, the added pressure of like, oh, y'all are newlyweds? Y'all want to go on a honeymoon? You better love each other more than these other 2 couples do, or else you're fucked. You know, like,
funny misunderstandings happen there. It's like, what's the weirdest place you ever made love? In the butt. It's like, no, on the washing machine. You know,
that's probably the number one like classic game show blunder.
In the butt.
In the butt.
No whammies, no whammies.
So this may be more reality, but like yeah, I'm not going to call it a game show. I was going to say Amazing Race, but I'm going to take that back. I
That's
do
a
love the
reality
Amazing
show.
Race.
It's a reality competition show.
Reality competition. Okay, yeah. I take it back. I
Thank
still
you.
love it, but yeah.
Oh, and then we have the Family
Retracted.
Feud. We have the Family Feud that's been going on my entire life, it feels like.
I
Well,
love
Hammond,
the feud
like-
so much.
We do get into serious topics here, but like your family's arguments, like this isn't the topic for that.
But I mean, it's funny how the Family Feud has shifted because Richard Dawson was making out with everybody that was a woman on that show. And now Steve Harvey actually is using it as a platform for actual messaging.
Yeah.
Right. What always cracked me up with, so I was always mad at Family Feud because I'm an only child. And
So am I. I can never go on.
Yeah, and I don't have, I mean, I'm sure I do. I don't know like extended family and stuff. I don't know all my cousins. So I'm like, man, I could never do it. But what always made it funny to me, even as a kid, because of the nature of the game, it's gonna be a race competition because there's not a lot of mixed families. So it's like, well, shit, now I gotta root for the black family because, well, you know, that's what you do. So what am I going to do now? You know? And it always turned into a race thing, and it made me a little uncomfortable.
Sounds like you turned it into a race thing, Tony.
No, it's a thing.
No,
It's a thing.
It was
It's
a thing. It was
It's a thing.
Especially in the old days, it was a thing.
It's a thing.
Okay.
The family's names were literally, we have the black family who actually are white, and then the
I remember
whites,
that
and they're the
episode.
black family.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then it's like, oh, well, now they gotta, there's like, this was back in the day, there was no like I said, mixed couple or anything. It was all black versus or the Asian family. And yeah, I matter of fact, now that I mention it, I think that's the root of our country's problems is the Family Feud.
Is Richard oh yeah.
Yes, and
I misread. So Kruggles in chat said, I want to see this ADD family on the feud. And I misread that to say I want to see the Addams family on the feud.
Well, she would probably like that too.
but also
no.
And there's a bit. Somebody take it and run with
The
it.
Adams versus the Munsters on
Oh, yeah.
Family Feud?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's a good sketch.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Tony.
Good answer.
But also, right? Hold on. During the speed round, you have
Thing
Thing,
and Cousin It. and
but he's
Cousin It.
fast, so he gets in, but he can't respond.
He has to sign- he has to
So
sign
goes to
language.
the other team.
No, he uses sign. I think that's really funny.
Yeah. No, please, we're on television. Don't put your gang signs up. It's going to the monsters.
Yeah. But Tony and Phil, you guys write that skit for Dragon Con 2021.
Oh my God.
I'll be Herman Munster. I'll just the whole time.
And I'll be Uncle Fester.
And Kit Kat will be the hairy little one, whatever that was.
Cousin It.
Cousin It, thank you. I want to go way back.
I was going to say Wednesday, but all right. We'll call her Harry.
87.
I like our
remember-
listeners.
Do you remember Bumper Stumpers?
Bumper stumper.
Sounds like a
Google
stripper-
it, man.
sounds like a strip
It's
club in
87,
Georgia.
So it might be before all you youngins' time. But it was when vanity license plates first came out of California. That's the first day I believe they had them, and they started to
I
come around
remember
the
that
nation.
show.
Yes,
Yes.
So you had to figure out what the license plate said, and very much a name that tune kind of countdown quick. I loved that show as a kid so much.
There was
That's
also
a
the
road
one where they
trip
did the
game.
pictures, and it had like a tree minus the T, and then it was whatever that game show was.
Yeah.
And you had to create a sentence based out of the pictures and these weird little.
What was that? Well, I remember that distinctly. I just
Yeah.
don't remember the name.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
What
Concentration,
concentration?
says Kurt. Is that what it is?
No,
I do
concentration
not-
was cards. Yeah, that was the match in the cards. Someone in chat earlier, and that's what distracted me because it was such a good answer, mentioned Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah.
And that
Female.
is on its own. That's on its own list.
No, what
The
is that?
Legends of the Hidden Temple list. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Hammond.
yeah. Well, I mean,
That's where we got to see kids get abused on. I think it was Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew that. Okay, now I know what it is.
Yeah, it was a kids game show.
Okay, so that
it
was.
was also impossible. Like,
Yeah, very, very
No, like-
often nobody won.
No,
Yeah.
like
you can count on,
statistically,
like,
2% of the people that went into the show won. They were just rolling in money because they weren't giving anything away.
No.
So that's the thing is, so I'll be 50 in April, and so I think I missed Nickelodeon when that was on.
Yeah, probably. It sounds
yeah,
like
okay.
definitely it was in
Sure.
that gap, Hammond.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed 50, but I'm 41, so let's call it 10 years. I do think 10 years makes a difference when it comes to Legend of the Hidden Temple.
It was
Okay.
93 to 95.
Oh yeah, I was knee deep in college those years, so there's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're busy. Yeah. Somebody
That's the
said-
same
knee deep in
reason
college
I-
and knee deep in college and my first marriage that didn't work out.
At the
refer
same
back
time?
to the point that Mike made to you earlier about don't bring your family drama into the show. Thank you. But somebody mentioned Weakest Link earlier, and they won. There's a remake of it with I had her name. I'm trying
Jane
to say her
Lynch.
name.
Jane Lynch.
Jane Lynch. Oh, she's so good at it. But I was like, this is one of the cheapest game shows ever because they never make it past like 60,000 out of the possible $1 million prize. I'm like, y'all never give out hardly any money.
Oh,
That's
and also
awesome.
Tony's favorite guy Hardwick did that whole pachinko game on the wall.
That's a fact.
See,
That's
Tony-
his guy.
Tony,
That's
you're
his
on my
guy.
side.
That's canon now. That's canon. That's his guy.
Now, do you guys remember the Game Show Network?
I still watch
Yeah.
it.
I guys
Still have it. Yeah,
remember. I said on
GSM.
cable, but I know it's out there. But yeah, I still think loved it. But when it first came on, my wife and I, that would be our nightly routine. We'd sit in the bed and we'd watch Lingo with Chuck Woolery.
Lingo
and we
is
tried
my
to do-
shit, dude.
You can play
Oh,
online.
bingo.
You can play online with them. I got a
Fucking
screenshot
Lingo.
somewhere of my TV where we were #1 on the board when they
Hey
came out.
Tony,
for commercial.
hit up Stealth King 500.
Yeah, I just saw that. That's crazy. So in chat, someone mentioned in 120 episodes of Legends of the Hidden Temple, 30 people won. I did not realize how serious, how skewed the odds were.
honestly, the fact that there were 30
that-
is incredible to me.
That's a quarter. Only a
That's-
quarter.
Well,
of
I
one.
said 20%. So
yeah, you were
very
very close
good.
there, Phil.
very good on
25,
that
yeah.
math, Charles.
Quick on that calculator, bud.
Hey,
That is a quarter. Very good.
Well, no, like Phil.
So kilted. I was actually graduated from college in '95, or '94. So
I graduated high school in '95, so there you go.
Yeah, I was 10 in 95.
And Swan was out in the cold trying to get candy in '95 on Halloween because she's freezing.
But
So for me, if we're going to talk about kids game shows, especially when it
Okay.
comes to Nickelodeon, Nick Arcade, man, was my jam, right? You had these kids going in and having competitions between each other just with cabinets and arcade games that nobody's ever heard of,
Okay,
as if
so-
they just made these up right now. It's like, oh, you can play Frogger, you can play Galaga, or you can play Hamburger Joe. Oh, we're going to play Hamburger Joe, Steve. Oh, all right, yeah, let's play some
Okay,
Hamburger
so-
Joe.
in the early '80s, there was a show called like Starcade Arcade. It was like
Yeah,
a-
Starcade.
Yeah, and it had like 10-year-olds competing against each other in video games. And I remember that it was interesting because they always kind of pit these boys against girls, and the girls would always end up smoking them. And I thought they were trying to prove a point, but it was really an interesting show because it was the first time video games had been turned into something competitive.
only
Yeah.
Charles would make an uncomfortable face about kids and sex.
Are we still not doing phrasing
Charles.
on this show?
Well,
Because he phrased
you
that
know what,
really
Mike?
badly.
To defend Charles, at that time, they were the same age.
Oh, that's a fucking callback. That's
Well,
how you do a callback.
I got to get us out of this quick. So,
Thank
Stealth
you.
King mentioned a classic, a favorite, absolute favorite, Double Dare. Any iteration of Double Dare. Double Dare 2000, Family Double Dare, Divorced Couple Double Dare. It didn't matter.
Hold
I
on,
was
is-
watching
hold
it.
on, is that a
Survivor,
thing? Hold
Survivor
on. Is
Double
that
Dare.
I'm asking for a friend. Is that a thing?
Biggest loser. double
Divorce
dare.
couple double dare.
It's about to
Amazing
be
Race, Double Dare.
executive
Adopted
produced by
Double
Tony
Dare,
P.
where all these adopted kids have to play Double Dare to
Hey.
earn the love of their biological
No,
parents.
hey, so Tony Naked, you only child Double Dare.
You just by yourself. You pass the flag to nobody.
Yeah, you pass it off, and it just drops there, and you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're
womp.
out of time."
Mark Summers wades into the pool next to you and is like, sorry.
Womp womp.
Sorry,
no, that would never happen. Apparently,
I
Mark
know.
Summers was hated. I forgot the term because I'm asked to
He's
He's
call
a
on it.
germaphobic.
Germaphobe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is-
But it's cool because
quite
in the
ironic.
Philadelphia area, he would hold local Double Dare competitions because that's where he's from. So he used to do, after the show stopped airing, he would do like New Year's Eve Double Dare shows, and you could just buy tickets
Okay,
and
so-
hopefully make your way onto a Double Dare.
Okay, so Philip, I'm going to bring up a stereotype about Philadelphia being kind of a rough, brutal, fan-based drunkard.
Sure, yeah, fuck
Yeah,
you
that's
already.
true.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
please. I could use
Yeah,
the
after he
compliments right
shit on
now.
a Georgia con about Georgia just can't read this weekend. You get him, Hammond.
So I'm trying to figure out how a kid-centric, kid-friendly Double Dare happens in a town that is Philadelphia.
Well, instead of slime, we use batteries, Hammond.
I was going to say blood. Yeah. Actual human blood.
You jump into a pool of broken glass and the tears of your relatives.
Yeah. The disappointment of your father that you'll never play for the Eagles.
Eggles. Yeah, did you say Eggles?
Yeah, they had the pendulum on their team.
I don't know if anybody remembers. Speaking of video games, Video Power. It was a small. I want to say local or like
Local access
Chicago
shows.
or
Tony's
something.
watching
Yeah.
local access game
It
shows.
was
He's
too.
so
Don't
It
make
came from
me
addicted.
Google
it. It came from his
Don't
uncle. It
make
came
me
from his uncle's
Google
house.
it. But I think it was on like WGN or something, and they video game competition. I guess I'm not familiar with Starcade, so maybe like Starcade. But at the end, they ran through this maze where they would just pick up games and stick them to their like Velcro suit, and if they got
I
through the entire
remember
maze
that.
and down the slide, they kept every game that
Yeah,
was stuck
I
to
do
them.
kind of remember that part.
I remember
And what
that part.
What was always
Head-to-head
funny?
trivia says Haney.
Head-to-head trivia. What?
She says it's. I think she's saying that's what the show is called. No.
No, I don't know what she's talking about. She's a
Okay.
crazy person. But back to Video Power.
I mean, yeah, she's
So-
still here.
Yes. It's 10:30 at night. Why are you watching this show?
It's
Go to
'cause I'm
bed,
here.
Benjamin.
It's because I'm here.
they would get so many duplicates, and that's what cracked me up. It'd be like, all right, you won 10 games. You got Battletoads, Mario 3, Ninja Gaiden, Mario, another Ninja Gaiden. And I'm like, what are they gonna do with those? Like,
Yo, honestly,
Throw
at that
them
age,
away. You throw
if
them
I
away.
if I had Battletoads and another copy of Battletoads, being able to give one of my best friends Battletoads, like that would be the best thing in the whole world. Playing Battletoads at your
Okay,
own
don't-
house,
don't show-
and then
don't
going
show
to your
off
buddy's
that-
house and
Do not
playing
show off
Battletoads
that
at
you
their
had
house.
friends. Don't brag about you having friends, okay? It's already hard enough for me as it is.
Sorry, Hammond. We're really glad that you were able to pencil us in. You know, your schedule sounded so busy, bud.
guys,
real
I just
talk,
have
though.
to point out. Season 2 of Video Power had 50 episodes. They did an episode every week except Christmas and
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So
And-
this,
And I'm sorry, Video Power,
Are
best
you-
intro ever. Best intro ever. But you were saying, Mike.
yeah. So we got down a little bit of a rabbit hole here of shows that I never watched as a kid because my mom and my dad were obsessed with Jeopardy. And I know like it's topical this week, you know, but like we would eat dinner and then we would watch Wheel and then we would watch Jeopardy, and then I would do homework. And that was the routine for years and years and years. And so, it's crazy to me that we got this far into the show and didn't talk about it.
I opened up with Jeopardy, and then we quickly moved past it. Jeopardy is a good one. Funny enough, I never made it to Jeopardy because I hate Wheel of Fortune. I just never enjoyed it for some reason.
Oh, I love that. I buy it on every console I have.
Yeah. All right, cool.
It's my favorite slot machine in Vegas.
Yeah.
It is a fun slot machine. And it makes a noise. Stealth King of Chat mentioned Win Ben Stein's Money was a good one.
The shows where it was just so I loved the contrast is the word I was looking for. I love the contrast between Wheel and Jeopardy.
Yeah,
I thought the difference between those two shows is night and day, and the fact that they went back to back and everybody watched both of them.
Yep.
Right. Was just so fun. It was like, oh, here's something for everybody.
And that's the thing, Charles. I know you got me queued up, but before we'll wrap up. We'll wrap up with that. Sure. As I was watching Alex Trebek's little memoriam that they showed, I was kind of thinking about, I was like, man, people are really torn up about this. And I'm kind of torn up about this. Why am I a big Alex Trebek fan? I've never been a huge Alex Trebek fan. What's going on? And it's such a staple in the US that Wheel of Fortune and everybody knows Pat Sajak. Everybody knows Vanna White. Vanna White doesn't even turn the letters anymore, but she still better be there. Yep. She still better be there. Yeah. And it's just like an institution. It's a weird, odd part of your family. To Mike's point, I can
remember it's been on TV with those people.
Yeah. And to Mike's point, that's every night was, Alex Trebek is in his house, literally, and then, or figuratively, and then he goes on with his day. And so that's why, it kind of hit everyone a bit hard. And I think the same will happen, when Pat Sajak passes away, if he doesn't retire first.
No, it won't. It won't. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing about Trebek, right? He is Canadian born, and like you said, he was a staple in everybody's lives. But he had such a career for 30-some plus years on just Jeopardy, right? He was doing game shows before Jeopardy. But he made his entire career without having any stumbles, without having any public blunders, without having any kind of awfulness kind of hit his career, because he did his job and then went back and just stayed with his family. And there's a wholesomeness around Trebek. And I put this on Facebook, man. I mean, he's one of those pantheon goddess deities now of wholesomeness, right?
Yeah.
You have your Bob Rosses and for me personally, your Robin Williams, even though he's had many problems in his life, and
Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, that's right.
Steve Irwin.
Yep.
And Steve Irwin, right? You have these public people that we don't personally know, but were in our lives for literally my entire life. Trebek has been doing Jeopardy. If I was having a bad day, it didn't matter because I came home and Trebek was there to throw questions that I didn't know the answers to. Right? It's these, like you said, Mike. It's a staple of sitting down after dinner and going through this routine of watching Wheel and Jeopardy. And towards the late years of his life, he kind of leaned into it, right? Making fun of the contestants in that awkward time period, where he does his 3 to 15-second interview with them. He held himself at such high esteem, but also knew when to joke around a little bit and have a good time. And so the reason it hit me so hard is because not only did I rely on him to be there every night, but to see him battle cancer that only had a 5% survival rate, then come clean out of it. It's like, well, yeah, if anybody's going to, it's going to be him because he's one of the most wholesome people in the world. And then for it to just come back even harder and to take that light that he had and just rip it out of him. I mean, it was really difficult for me.
But like he was still doing shows with it, right? Like
yeah.
Consummate. We talk a lot about professionalism. Consummate fucking professional.
And they still have, I think they said 30 some odd episodes left that he filmed, and they're going to show them because, as the producer said, that's what he would have wanted. I sincerely believe that. You know, it's not just a thing to say. Like, I believe that. But Phil, I'm curious, before we wrap up, why isn't Sajak on that level? I mean, he's in the same spot. He's on the same time.
Different feel to it, doesn't he?
Just, why?
Why? Because he doesn't, he ran his fucking mouth a lot on Twitter about racist shit.
Did he? I didn't know that.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
And
I know
like,
that either, and I still think
that's the thing about Trebek. It's just like, I have all the right in the world to be out there and be loud about my views and all this other stuff, but I don't want to because that's not who I am as a person. Right? And that's why I'm trying to talk people into listening to this episode of The Nerdist, because he would go home and just garden. That's where he found his peace. After a shitty, hard day of recording these episodes, the only way for him to kind of mellow out and decompress was just working in the garden and working that garden out and trying to just make it not even look good, but also produce food that he could bring home to the table.
Fine, Phil, and I'm not being funny. I will listen to the episode tomorrow.
I have the link, and I'm going to send it to you right now.
Yeah, I'm going to queue it up tonight. I'm working all day tomorrow. I'll be here. I can put it on, not for Hardwick, but to listen to Alex Trebek and hear this stuff, because a lot of this is news to me. So I think it'd be interesting. It's clear you love Alex Trebek. It's unfortunately a loss, but unfortunately it's life, and we'll see what they decide to do next. So yeah, it's really hard to spin that. Obviously, you love Alex Trebek, so here's something I love. But it's the shtick we do, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to show some love. So first off, my show the love for all of last month was go out and vote, and the country had the largest voter turnout it's had in the history of existence. And I like to think a little something of that had to do with us here at ADD. So thank you all. In all sincerity, thank you all who voted. Again, it doesn't matter who, that you made your voice heard, so thank you for that. But I'm finally going to do something different today. I'm going to show the love to a show called Utopia. It is on Amazon Prime. It is a remake of, I think we have some British people in chat. It's a remake of a BBC show that they did pretty good with as far as remakes go. And it opens up at a comic book convention. So you got to check it out, right? And then it just goes crazy. It's insane. It's an insane show, and I'm obsessed with it. And I want everyone to watch it so they make a second season.
And
so speaking of Amazon.
Cool.
Yeah, same. That's where The Boys is at, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So they were pushing it with The Boys. So yeah, check out Utopia. It is not family friendly, I will tell you that. Oh damn, I did it again. Kilted Pipe guy's not British, he's Scottish. It's all the same. It's all the UK, right? Isn't it?
Oh, you're in such trouble. You're in so much trouble now.
But anyway, it's not family friendly. It's very violent. But it's interesting. Check it out. Speaking of checking out, you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We're making the move to Parler, where we can speak freely and not be held down by fake news and the liberal media. You can find me at Tony P. We're not really going to Parler, y'all. That's a joke. You can find me.
One of us is. One of us already has. One of them signed up already.
You can find me at TonyPHenderson.com and on YouTube.com/Tony P. Henderson, where I make the Tony P. Oddcast. Ironically, coming out soon is the post-election special. Yeah, keep an eye out for that. And I think that is it. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out. Oh, you know what? Send us an email. That would be great. We really do want to hear what you guys think. Someone in chat said, I have some comments about your Thanksgiving episode. Shoot us an email. Find us on Facebook. We want to hear all of your comments. We'll read them on the show. Twitter. We'll make a discussion about it. Hit us up on Twitter. Just the fun of this, honestly, is interacting with everyone. And so that would be great. It would make it even more fun for us. So reach out to us. Can I email my comments about how not British I am? Yes, Kilted Pipe Guy. Then maybe one day I'll get it right. So that is it. We're going to end the episode with the opening to Video Power. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for listening. And we will see you soon. Feel the power. Yeah, that's right. Word.
Vanilla
I got
Ice?
the ability.
So I was just going to say Vanilla Ice.
Got the power move. Let her rip.
Looks like I was shot on an Amiga.
Video power.
I'm so sorry, everyone.
How could you not be hype after that? That is the pinnacle epitome of all things that are hype in a 20-second intro.
Okay, call back to the previous episode. I feel like I need to wipe now.
Everybody,
if I've made it 34 years without learning, I'm not going to start today, Hammond.
Thank you, Hammond Chamberlain, for hanging out with us tonight. Be a good sport.
This is, I gotta tell you, this is I've been on Breaking the Panel, and now I've been on this, and this is, I think, a better show. I really think this is a much better way to go, Charles. I'm actually saying something nice.
It's because Charles left. That's why.
Man, my grandfather had a chair just like that.
I'm pretty sure he stole it
from your grandfather.
Not anymore, Hammond.
Hey, so Tony, as an only child, were you the favorite in your family? Because I wasn't.
No. I mean, my parents might be watching. They'd be like, I'm going to get a call tomorrow or in like a minute.
Tony Bear, of course you were our favorite.
Shoot, they'd be like, hey, so you said, so what makes you say that?
So
what are the odds that Charles has a bowl of Werther's Originals?
I've been there, and they're next to the toilet.
He's got himself some diabetes.
Oh shit! Well, I appreciate that, Hammond, man. We try to keep it loose here.
No, this was a good mix of. This was a really good mix of serious stuff, funny stuff, and making fun of Charles, which is really the reason why I show up. And
then every now and then it's like, ha 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 ha! Oh, someone died. Like what?
Seriously.
Gee, like, oh, hey, let's do a magic trick, ha ha ha! Someone's dead. Like, yeah,
please.
No,
yeah,
but Phil, I'm sad we didn't do one of the topics I had brought up.
Well, that
I was initially going to be on.
That's just a reason for you to come back, Hammond.
Charles,
that's funny.
Me. Charles,
that's funny you mentioned that, Hammond, because in our private Discord chat, Phil was like, Hammond brought a topic, but fuck him. And I was like, yo, that's kind of...
That's cool,
say that?
Yeah, no, it's true. I said that.
Phil wouldn't even tell us what the topic was.
I put my feet on his couch.
I didn't even give him my topic until, I don't know, last night at 1 a.m. No, him, I actually fucking forgot that you brought a topic originally. And my mind's been fucking all over the place for the last.
Well, of course, I totally get that. But if Charles will have me, I will come back and be better behaved.
Here's the thing, Hammond, is that I do the booking for this show, so it doesn't even have to go to a vote. I just do it, and yeah, we'll see you back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but we run the tech part,
Tony,
and we run the tech part, so we can just, I
got no problem with Tony. Tony's awesome. Tony's a celebrity.
Thank you, Hammond. I appreciate you, buddy. I appreciate you.
And Mike, you know what? You're from Austin. I have no problem with people from Austin.
Suck it, Charles.
He's not from Austin, Hammond. He lives in Austin.
When he travels to Salt Lake, that makes him from Austin.
Also, I've lived here 8 years. That puts me in the top 25% or so of folks in Austin right now.
How many weeks are you going to bring this up, Michael?
I'm just saying,
every week
people move
Billy's
here
been
all
there
the
for
time.
Every fucking week, Michael.
Well,
I
because
just want y'all to know I've been here 8 years and 4 weeks now. It's
That's
my
right.
Austin-versary. Like, really? Who cares? What?
Tony, you're just
See,
jealous.
I moved to Utah in the fall of '88, and I've been here ever since.
because they won't let you leave. Blink twice.
Hey, and hey, what? I worked for the Utah for the Salt Lake County Department of the Sheriff's Department as a crisis worker. I've worked for the courts, done all kinds of stuff, helping kids get clean from drugs, and I'm glad I'm doing regular podcasting now because I can just be me.
So
that's still awesome work, man.
Yes, unbelievable. Unbelievable that you would hang out with these fucking clowns while also being like a good person. That's the part that's really surprising.
You're assuming a lot about him being a good or even
everybody is a monster. I said that multiple
Did we not talk
times
about that
tonight.
earlier? Yeah.
I love
I
two
forgot
things about Utah.
Hardwick changed it to idiot. Did he didn't own Nerdist anymore, right?
No, he sold it to he
Nerdist
sold the
Net-
name. Yeah, Nerdist
Viacom.
Network. Yeah,
I think Viacom bought
And
it.
Yeah.
Technically ID10T. I know it's elite for idiot, but
Yeah, it's
right,
idiot
yeah.
elite.
Yeah.
I love two things
Fucking
about
stupid.
Utah: the grid system
Mm-hmm.
and the snow.
Yep, and we got plenty of that today.
Those are the two things about Utah that are good.
What's the grid? Are you talking about the power grid or?
No,
No,
the way it's
so-
set up on traffic.
The way the city's built. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
Every city is a grid with 00 in the middle of it, and then your address is 8900, 4400. And so you know exactly where someone lives based on the grid.
This isn't a dig, Charles, but being from Atlanta, you wouldn't understand a good grid.
No, we don't have grids.
No.
You
And what's really
are
weird is
absolutely
Salt Lake City is
correct.
set up with the mountains north, south, east, west, and so the grid's very much grid-like. I mean, when you look south to north, it's very much like a grid paper. Seattle is set up on a grid, but it's skewed, so everything's southeast, northeast, and it's really disconcerting.
I want to
Austin's
say
got a weird shape to it, so it doesn't have a sweet grid.
I want to say DC has a good grid system, if I remember correctly.
It kind of does when you get
DC
inside the Beltway, but outside the Beltway, it's a spaghetti factory.
Yes, yeah.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
with DC, it's there's a center and everything is parsed around it, almost like it's a fucking hexagon or an
It's more.
octagon.
It's something more like Paris, where they started out with good intentions and they just said, screw it.
Well, I think
The
what
issue with
happened,
DC,
right, with all those cities is they started out like this, and then used horses to go elsewhere and expanded this way, right? And so you just follow the horse paths and the cow paths and oh, that's the route I know, so I guess we'll fucking pave that because we're assholes.
That's how Lombardo Street was born. They followed a cat path.
but with the Beltway, the Beltway is just like a snake run because the rich people moved out of DC and didn't want the highway to be near them. So they had just a wave of a road to not interfere with rich people, man. And I drive that road weekly, and it's like fucking Fury Road.
Yep, it is.
Everyone's going 85 and just middle fingers. Good luck. Hopefully you can merge. Have fun.
Yep. I lived in Fairfax, Virginia for a few years.
What the
and,
fuck? Where?
I went to Hayfield High School. My dad was stationed at Fort Belvoir.
Okay.
Hammond's doxing himself on the internet. Jesus,
Not anymore.
Hammond.
So yeah, I
People
work
are
in I work in Reston and I've worked in McLean for a while.
Yeah,
So
we used to play McLean football all the time. They sucked. We used to beat them soundly.
that city.
like a drug.
That
Fucking
town
McLean.
still sucks.
Boo, McLean. Blew those
Boom, roasted.
chuckleheads at McLean.
The McLean Mustangs, they suck.
Boo.
Boo. Actually,
Charles.
it's in Virginia.
Yeah.
It's probably some weird, like, old racist like
The Minutemen,
Holdover. Yeah.
the McLean
Yeah,
Minutemen.
yeah.
Yeah.
The McLean owners, the McLean
You're right.
landowners.
You doing all right over there, Charles?
No, I'm good. Solid.
You ready to send us home for the evening, Charles?
Charles, I'm going to let you go. Remember who you are, what you stand for.
Captain
Fuck
America.
you, Hammond.
Wow. I thought that was a nice, but whatever. Hammond, I will say on behalf of Philip and Mike, thank you again. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys let me on, and I apologize for missing the last time because of my niece's birthday.
It's apparently
birthday.
bedtime for Bear McFall.
Yep.
Please, don't apologize for that. That's totally understandable. We do this
I think
crap
him-
all the time. Niece's birthday only comes once a year, so no stress there, man.
All right,
But
well,
it does come every
not like you
fucking
didn't have a
year,
year to
Hammond.
plan
yeah,
for.
but
Yeah.
it was a big one. It was like her 17th, so it was a big deal.
You know what I don't remember? My 17th birthday.
Right? 16.
Well, it wasn't
21.
that's
wasn't
'cause-
during a pandemic when you couldn't have family and friends really show up, so you had to kind of work around it. So
And you don't
she's
have
got
an
family
uncle
and
like
friends.
Hammond. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the thing. You don't have an uncle like Hammond.
I
Mike.
am the
Sorry.
favorite uncle. I don't care what anyone says. I am the favorite uncle.
I will say 16 notable, 18 notable, 17 is kind of just a blah, but
Yeah.
Not during
But
20, not in
still.
2020. Not in 2020. Not in
No,
2020.
that's
that's true.
fair. That's
Everything
fair.
is special this year.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fair.
Celebrate
Again,
this.
Hammond, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thanks for
This is
being
where
here,
we
bud.
usually end up bullshitting, and everyone's like, all right, I'm ready to go. Because
That's me.
Phil,
Hammond,
what's up?
I'll hit you up about botched films, and we'll
Okay,
talk a little
awesome.
bit more about
Yeah.
that, man.
All right, sounds
That'd be
good.
dope. So,
All right,
Thank you.
bye.
I'll
Yep,
see you.
see you. Bye.
I want to.
Everybody else-
I want to do botch films.
Oh,
We can talk about this offline. Everybody else,
Randy
thank you so
Buckshell.
much for being here. Shut up. Thank y'all
on.
so much.
Hold on, though. I want to do botch.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here tonight. I just wanted to say, on behalf of the whole ADD crew, we really appreciate everybody, and we'll see you next week.
are you gonna read names, or
Bye.
you just gonna outro?
Yeah, just outro.
Oh, okay.